me. It turned out.
All right, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna start it up a little early. Uh, I guess with caveats, though, right? Because I say early as if like we're not starting this 1 in the morning. Okay, your boy be working on some stuff. Had a lot of side stuff I was doing. Okay, we're going to be doing another major upgrade. As I have officially confirmed it, a major upgrade, and from that point forward, I should be a happy, normal human being. I can only pray. All right. Um, things about to get much better. I hope. I hope. We'll see. Um, now, what am I to do? All I want to do is just make sure, right? Because I did make some slight tweaks. I just need to make sure that there's nothing wrong with um the audio, nothing crazy. And then I'm gonna go cut the AC on. I am burning up. I put my PC right above like my vent. There's like a bunch of like floor vents in the house. I got some of them covered, some of them closed, and only keep like the important ones open. But like there's one that's like really really strong. I mean, it must be like the main exhaust, which is right here, like underneath my table. And I have my PC like right on top of it so that whenever I cut the AC on, because I only do it during like the summertime, because whenever I cut the AC on, then the AC just like blasts through my PC for like super cooling. Right? You don't need no liquid cooling when you have a whole building AC system, AC exhaust for it, you know? So let me just make sure that I didn't botch nothing. Because I did move some things around. So for my tech people that actually care, which most of you probably don't, um, all I did, what I did was is like instead of me now, um, handling the video and like whenever I'm doing like the gaming, whether that's on my phone or on the computer, on my Surface Lap Studio, my laptop, right? Because all it, well, not this, right? Because it's obviously the camera, but and the streaming is done by my PC. But like, would I be having the videos up or when I be having the game up, right? That's all off of my laptop. That's off of my like my touchscreen laptop. Okay, it's a beast. It is a beast to be doing, be able, work it the way I do. But I'm going to take the video off of that. So I'm taking the video. I'm going to go ahead and take the video off of that and have the main PC, the streaming PC, do it as well. And hope, I'm hoping that there won't be no issue on the encoding part, right? Even if there is, if it's like that bad, I'll switch it back for the time being. But yes, I do have a new PC coming in. Well, I have all the parts coming in that I'm a build because I need it. I need it for the long term future because we're also getting serious on a lot of personal stuff as well. So but I'm like 9 times out of 10 I'll keep it as it is for now, struggle bust it for a bit, and then once I get all the stuff in and I get everything migrated over, then I can run it because I have a 16 core, be 4 to 5 gigahertz CPU with 5090. Like that's it. I'm at the cream of the. I'm going to be at the cream of the crop. So I'm really excited for it. So we're gonna see it. We're gonna see it rock. Oh yeah, let me see if I can. Okay, yeah. So we got audio. I needed to make sure because I be jacking it up, man. I'm telling you, I be jacking it up. All right, but that's it. I'm burning up, man. Oh my God, I don't think there's anything else for us to do, but to get started. So let me go ahead and transition over like so. Okay. Um, as you can also, yeah, so also see I moved the chat a little bit over a bit. Oh, I need to do it on a, okay, give me like 2 minutes. I forgot to do all of this on a vertical one too. Damn. Damn. All right. All right. Let me think about this here. Get back. Who knows? The 5090 might be able to do two 4K streams and let me do the AI translations. That'd be really cool. Um, all right, hold on. So y'all not gonna, most of y'all are not gonna see what I'm doing this unless you're on my vertical stream. If you're on my vertical stream on YouTube, you will see what I'm doing. And color source. Oh my gosh. You know something? It's already, it's already almost there. Matter of fact, you're right. Let me move the two like over some real quick. Oh, what happened? Why they? Why would it? Why would they both be moving like that? Unless, I just must accident. Oh, it's already damn near set for it. You come on. I said I'm sorry guys, you're not gonna see it unless you're on my I keep saying vertical. Is it vertical? It is vertical. Unless you're on my vertical stream. But bear with me a minute. Bro, I am burning up. I can't wait to turn this. I'm trying not to freeze grandma downstairs, man. But man, look, she about to need to bundle up. Damn, son. Let me see. FF0, select color. How did I? Oh wait, is that? Let me see something. Ain't no way. I have to. You know what that has to. You know what that must be. That's gotta be like there's gotta be some filters being done in there. No. Oh, I was right. It is some filtering. What I do? Oh, the opacity at 75. Ah, okay. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. So we make this, make it black, right? Cool. All that's all cool. Say okay. Filter, color correction, and then opacity at 75. Color correction. Opacity. There. Chat up top. The chat up top. There we go. Then I bundle the two. All right, we got a group. This has a group, right? It's groups, right? Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Oh, man, I was about to say, I was like, bruh, there's no way this vertical stuff does not allow you to group. The group, right? Oh, do I just wait? There's no way. Hold on. Am I tripping? No, it's gotta be a group, right? Like if I was to grab these two group selected items. Okay, maybe the vertical thing just doesn't have a what I'm looking for. Maybe it's just not like, built out, I guess, quite like that. I guess maybe I'm supposed to like move them inside. So it's the color source, and then there's the chat. Okay, and then the color source. And then move it above it. Oh, all right, cool. Now they can it with me. All right, let me. How would I even do? You know what? Because I like to be on those. I could just this where that. Okay, I'm almost done, guys. I'm sorry. I just thinking of this. Okay, and if I could just yeah, that looks fine to me. And then I just need to remove that black bar. Okay. And then lastly, I do need to add the window capture. Um yeah, here we go, window capture. And it's already I think it's already. You know, sometimes they be sometimes they will trick you. I do opacity for this as well. Like struggling vertical streaming is very difficult. Rev, come on, stop it and let me move it. But let me rock it with that for the time being, and then we'll see. All right, but we're okay. So we're done there. Let me show Firefox over here. I don't know why that's small all of a sudden, unless unless it's moved and I gotta. Okay, I was gonna say. It's width and then height at the bottom. What can I do? Like 950? Okay. Good. Getting there, getting closer. 70. Here we go. And I just probably 1080, right? Yeah, 1080. 80 is the sweet spot. Okay, and done. All right, we're done. Okay, now we're about to get started. Sure, in a moment. Um, I don't have. Okay, so there's nothing else I need to do other than just now get the video plan, which we'll pick it back up from where we were. So I just need my. I just hope my video engine, my video codec engine, doesn't explode on me doing this. Let me rewind this a little bit, just a few steps back.
Well, Democratic Congressman Sri Tanadar introduced formal articles of impeachment earlier this week, citing acts of tyranny and abuse of power.
Okay, yeah, no, doesn't seem bad at all. Yeah, let me close this. Where did I put it? Right here. Or is the headphones? Are the headphones back there too? Yeah, they are. Yep. Man, who remembers that dinosaur, that little kid's dinosaur show? Oh my gosh, I used to watch a lot. See guys, this is my headphones here. Just barely holding on. I need to super glue them. I need to stop playing around and maybe super glue this, but I'm just scared because I don't want to mess them up. But yeah, no, just here. We're about to get back to it. Getting back to it. Let me just do some quick testing. I'm gonna turn the air on and then we're good. Man, this is really cooling me down actually, but I know my PC doesn't appreciate my GPU being at 85 degrees. It is 85 in the house, by the way. And yes, that is kind of toasty. That's I'm a warm climate person, so um Does that, do I have to full screen? Screen. Oh, not good. I guess I could full screen. Let me think about this. Yes, I should. Okay. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move you. We'll move you over here. Then I'm gonna move you over here. Hope that you don't. Okay. Looking good to me. And oh, so it's going by wherever it's being placed at. Out of okay, hold on. I have to fix that because that's gonna drive me insane at some point. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna have to fix that. Let's do a fit the screen, put it back, and then I need to figure out how do I prevent it from rising. You see, he's even off now. Ugh. Let me see. Let me see. There was a thing. I think it was no bounds. I think if you wanted it to not ever be influenced, I think you had to set it to no bounds, like I just did. And then, right. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move it onto like one of my other monitors. You see, like we can never just have a smooth transition. At least this time it's new stuff, right? Because I'm like literally doing something new instead of something else. Okay, so we already figured out it was no bounds. Okay, cool. Lock you. And then the only one that should move is the definitely. Is that just the nature of like the that must be the okay, that's gotta be I guess that's just the nature of the thing. If I full screen this, does it okay, it stays in the same spot. Okay. Okay. Now we're on to something here. I'd have to explore that another time. I really can't be bothered with it right now. But now I'm just fixing it on my vertical side, guys. So do bear with me here. Almost done, almost done. I am sorry. Do that one more time, right? Go like that. And all right, cool. So that the vertical, so that my vertical is okay. Oh, I guess it changed it anyway. I guess there's no. All right, well, I guess there's no getting around that. That's fine. Forget it. Forget it. Let me just do that. But at least never know. So as long as we just keep it in that window, we'll be fine. Okay. Anything else? Don't think so. Letters. Like this. Now all I'm doing is just getting my the chats together, right? Because remember I said I was gonna fix that issue. Not gonna have the chats messed up like that anymore. Oh. I should have tried to have. I think I'd rather have those back down next time. I know what I'm gonna do to like make this a little bit faster for me to next time. Won't be this time. It'll be next time. Okay. Everything's now ready at long last. All I want to do now is just let me check something here.
And he joins me now. Welcome to you, Congressman.
Thank you.
So you're going hard on Trump. You're citing sweeping abuse of power, flagrant violations of the Constitution, acts of tyranny that undermine American democracy and threaten the rule of law. Out of interest, what has Trump done that has massively surprised you, or that most of his diehard supporters didn't vote for?
But look,
I tested this yesterday. Why won't it work? I mean, yesterday. I tested this like 30 minutes ago. Okay. The most important thing is that I am able to pause the thing with my little switch thing over here. And for whatever reason, it's not letting me do that. Media. Play, pause. Why? What does Firefox not allow? I guess for the sake of just videos, I guess I could do it on YouTube. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but
the tariffs, this is Congress's prerogative. He took that over illegally, unconstitutionally, and made a mess of it. And
okay. I guess I am moving us over to YouTube. I mean, Soft Edge. Okay, fine. We'll do this. Okay, I'm going to kill that. Let me move this over here. As a matter of fact, I think I can actually even use a different profile. Right? Yep. And do that. I'm very upset right now because, I mean, I only assumed, okay? I only assumed that this wasn't going to be an issue because I tested it on one browser and it's, the pause and play functionality looked like it was system related. But I guess that would make sense, right? Because Microsoft Edge, Microsoft, Windows. But it's all good. Hold on. So I just gotta move some profiles back around, and then we should be good. So yeah, properties. Okay, cool. Actually, just right into place. Okay, so it was less painful than I was anticipating, but at least that's good. I want it. All right, this and then this, right? And so right, I've only we was in the midst of watching this. This is only like that. What? Because like I had played it for a second just to make sure it was in here, for good reason, right? Cause see, is that exact issue I tend to have. All right, let's see now
the
how we're
tariffs, this is Congress's prerogative.
Yeah, see, now it works. Okay. Now we're good. Now we can go ahead and do this, this, but of course, right? And then I'm forgetting the. All right, I got one more thing. You'll see it pop up in a second as it's loading. I'm waiting. I am awaiting. It's loading. It's still loading. And okay, and it's loaded. I should probably do a quick platform login test to make sure everything is still good. Right. That's the key, of course. Okay, so I guess with kick you just have to do it each and every time. That sucks. Um, you know, I sat there and I thought about it for a second and I was like, I wonder if yes it is. While I'm not paying attention, it's like, yeah, most certainly to get me caught up. So let's hide. Let's hide that real fast while I sign in. I don't even know what. Oh, because it's not. That's right. They wouldn't be. Man. Hold on. Let me think about it. Yeah. Plus, I have two-factor anyway, so I'm gonna need to. I'm gonna need phone. Come on. I'm almost 1,000. It's crazy. Verify. Ain't no way I'd use. Did I really use that? That's crazy. I have to change that mug. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change that mug. That's crazy. Certainly gonna have to change that mug. And then sorry, I was looking at something completely different. Here we go. That's it, right? Are we good now? Okay, yeah. See, it worked. So I guess I must probably have to do that with kick every single time. That's gotta be. Yeah, I must have to do that with kick every single time. All right, connect. Okay, close that. And almost right. I just gotta adjust it on a thing over here. So let's. Ooh. Okay. All right. Now we're ready. Now we're ready. All right. Now let's all right, let me bring it back up. Like so. All right. Do back full screen style. Back over here. All right, cool. So now I'm going to crack open supermarket together because we're doing videos. And while that's loading up, let me go ahead and get this AC cut on. All right, Steam got to start up anyway. Oh, that's right. I'm doing the thing. We did all that just for that not to work anyway. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. We'll figure something out for that next time. I gotta re-up on my stuff anyway. Okay, I mean, did we? Oh, well, it's running. Okay. All right, I'll be right back. My bad. Okay. Oh, they go to Scott Tissue. I'll put you over here. I know that there's got to be double feeding. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, yep. Laptop fans is on. AC is on. All I want to do real quick is just check my view, right? Because it was at 85 degrees. It was at 84 or 83. The AC's just kicked into full gear, so we'll see. Right, so right now it's 85 in the house, going down to 80. I am sweating a lot. Okay, I am sweating a lot. All right, this should hopefully also be a little bit easier on my laptop too. Okay. Oh, yeah. Just realizing that was that. All right. That's
Prerogative. He took that over illegally, unconstitutionally, and made a mess of it. And that lost stock values, people's 401k value got lost. He made a mess of it, and he tried to bully China. That didn't work. And right now, prices of everything are going up. He got elected because people thought he was best in handling the economy. It turned out that he made a mess of it. Prices have gone up. Now he's trying to tell Amazon, don't tell people that a tariff addition to the prices. He has trampled freedom of first right, freedom. Supreme Court 9-0 decision to bring Garcia back because he did not get the due process. Trump said he ignored that ruling. He just said yesterday that he's able to bring him back, but he will not bring him back. So he's defying Supreme Court. And that was the last straw for me. And that's why I introduced the articles of impeachment to impeach. This president must go. He has done unconstitutional act, illegal act, and this cannot stand.
I mean, again, I'd simply say, what do you think that he's doing that his supporters didn't expect him to do? He said, I'm going to sort the southern border out, which he indisputably has done. I'm going to get very, very tough on deportations of illegal immigrants. And all right, there are one or two cases which have got the headlines, which are certainly, in my estimation, worth examining on a due process question. But the majority of people have been deported. There seems to be no question mark over. He's challenging court power in a number of areas, but has said ultimately he will abide by the will of the courts. None of this strikes me particularly, at the moment, the behaviour of a dictator who's just decided none of these rules count for me.
Well, look at all the polls. There are several polls that came out last week, and he's underwater in almost every category, including economy, that is supposed to be his best category. And his own supporters are now, having buyer's remorse that they made a mistake, that he hasn't worked on the economy that like he said he's going to do. Instead, he's talking about Greenland and making Canada 51st state, and then military action against Mexico. None of this his supporters expected him to do. They expected him to fix the economy, because that's what they thought, and he said that's what he's going to do.
Out of interest, and look, I mean, this tariff war is still in a very early stage. You say that he hasn't succeeded in bullying China, as you put it, but how do you know it won't succeed over time? Trump Trump has launched a radical tariff war, no other word for it. What happens if in, say, 6 months' time, it turns out that most of the countries that the United States has trade deals with have renegotiated in America's favor, and including China? Now, in that eventuality, if the economy is doing well again, would you admit then that you were a little too hasty? In other words, should this be allowed to be given time to see if it works?
Look, we have seen the flip-flops. One day the tariffs are on, the very next day he takes them off.
Exactly.
He first acts tough on China, then he says he's going to be nice to China. It's about how he wakes up in the morning and whatever he thinks about. There is no plan. There is no plan or strategy here. It's just Trump, whatever he thinks he is. He has got a defense secretary who can't keep any secrets, sharing sensitive information on Signal chat. This is, he has got a health and human services secretary that is making, horrible medical decisions. He's got a staff that is not, he's got a cabinet that's not competent. And he's just,
Do you agree that he has stemmed the issue at the southern border by 95%, that the number of people coming in illegally on that border has reduced by 95%. Do you accept that? And do you think that's been a good thing, a successful story? If you're always on the move, as I am, you probably find it difficult to get all of the fruits and vegetables you need to keep your body and your doctor happy. Well, today's sponsor, Field of Greens, makes it all very easy. One delicious glass.
Let's be really clear too, right? Because I was actually, I actually had caught myself giving this to him. But then I thought about it, right? Because then I was like, he hasn't actually done anything to the border. What he just did was, it was just a fair tactic, which has worked, right? Arguably, you could say yes. Like, at the end of the day, that's what that is, achieving the result what he did. But he literally, there was like not a single like legitimate policy change. What he just basically did is he just managed to just convince like everybody that was coming over there that you won't, if you're coming from a place where you're possibly, being politically prosecuted or gang violence or what's the word I'm looking for, abuse of any kind, right? That is, oh man, it made me, oh no, they're together. Nah, it's not. I gotta delete. Abuse of any kind that you're hold, like like there's asylum laws, but we will not honor them, so you are really just wasting your time. And since the coyotes need you to pay them money for you to even get to smoke you in, right? It just isn't worth it anymore, right? So now what just ends up happening is is that you're just better off just accepting that that country that you was born in sucks, right? And you have no way of like living a life where your life or well-being isn't threatened. But it is what it is. So, and the thing is like, look, I'll be honest with you. It's kind of tough, but yeah, you're just gonna have to. You just need to take up political activism in your country, right, and try to gain power, or at least illegally, right? If you got a lot of crime, corruption in your country, then you should be doing the same. You should be doing the same with hopes of accumulating enough power to make things change. You know, if because you're not going to get a free meal ticket anywhere else. I mean, not through great cause, at least not in the United States anymore. And it was not really fair to say like, you know, free meal ticket, because like at the end of the day, you know, you still like we would help you kind of get established, and then after that, like you were like essentially on your own. You know, you work, you have to pay taxes, right? You don't have no access to any of the real benefits that the rest of you know, the rest of American citizens actually have, like Social Security or you know, or I think there was like some kind of, I think it was like maybe a special thing for some type of healthcare for like initially, but I think that was more state bounded. I think there's some states that were like doing some kind of medical stuff. I don't know the full details, so I can't really comment on it. But just know, as far as the federal government's concerned, you know, a lot of benefits and stuff that you would have otherwise, that, you know, a regular poor person would have otherwise been able to get, you most certainly will not, because you're not a citizen. So oh yeah, I gotta do one more. So I say all that to say that, like, he didn't actually, you know, he didn't really, I don't recall him really passing any real policy changes or anything like that. It's just strictly just it's just letting people know that we just, you know, your asylum process is about to be, because I can't overrule it, but I'm gonna make it as hard as possible and guarantee you that you probably will not get it, that you will almost certainly not get it. And that's what he's doing. I think I could do this, right? I have this as my frozen fridge aisle section. Yeah. Man. So he's still doing, oh yeah, no. He's still doing he is still doing immigration all wrong though. Like, I don't, you know, because this is part of the discussion we're sitting there having, right? I don't know why you know what? I do know why. Because he's super old. That's what it is. It's because he's so god awfully old that that's why he's doing it this way. Because there was this such a faster way of getting these people up out of here. And he can't do it because he's stuck. He's just like old people, right? The man's almost 80, like around 80 years old, right? He's just stuck in that one specific way that he's sitting there thinking it just doesn't work in the government, in a real humanitarian government way, right? You could just as easily sat there and just increase your judges, right? Or work with Congress to make some creative ways. You have both the House and Senate, and they fear you, right? You rule by control, right? You overpower the whole separation of branches, right? You now have full control of the legislative branch. You could do a lot. I don't understand why he doesn't just use the executive orders that he used to like illegally bully the law firms. While those still had the intended effect, he could have just as easily then had Congress sit there and allow him to like temporarily appoint like pseudo judges. I would have called it like pseudo judges, like basically like, you know, these lawyers, like anybody with like a bar license, to like help with immigration caseload and then, you know, to keep it like, I guess, kosher, say when the caseload reaches a certain amount, which you could just say 1 million, right? So if you have 20 million illegal immigrants in your country, right, then that's an easy layup right there. And then after that, right, then you put those law firms that you're bullying to work. You know, be like, hey, I need you to act as pseudo judges, and you're going to sit here and you're going to you know, give them the hearing that the Supreme Court wants us to give them. And then we push them out, you know. Then we push it out 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like that should be enough for the time being. Yeah, I feel like that's enough, right? Yeah, and then you start pumping them out. You start handing out deportation orders like you're Oprah. You know, you get deported, and you get deported, and you get deported. Like, I don't like that. That's all like a really strong possibility. I really think you could like really do that. He could probably really do that, but he won't, right? He won't sit there and do that, right? Because right? He's just hell bent. He's just hell bent on like trying to do it the dictator way, and I just don't understand why. Like you could just get so much done if you just do it. If you do it the smart dictator way, right? He's doing it the stupid dictator way, and that's just like so sad. That's what's so sad about it, is that he's doing it the slow dictator way, bro. Like almost, almost make me wanna get in somebody's ear, do some lobbying, so like this man could actually do it right and and achieve the goals that they want, which is to just get all the illegals up out of here. All right, that looks good. That looks good. And then over here, I'll do the shelf space. Yeah, product shelf full. Yeah, we'll do a product shelf full, right? Yeah, I guess I can just come over here. Come on. All right. And then I think like over there, I'll do like produce. Need to do one of those things. Like how do Walmart be doing it? Don't Walmart be having those like flat things for produce? Let's play the video back.
Americans' children have been deported. People, American citizens' children with cancer have been deported without due process. So it goes both ways. While some accomplishments have been done at the border, he's also, not given the due process to many of the immigrants.
Let me bring in Tim Poole. Tim, your response to the congressman and his plan, well, he's not planned, he's gone ahead with it, issued articles of impeachment against Trump.
Factual but not truthful. American citizens weren't deported. That's just not true. Due process was given to all of these people. Look, if you want to argue that someone like Abrego Garcia deserved an additional hearing, a third or fourth hearing, or that as the actual due process they're concerned about pertaining to him is a USCIS interview to determine the current standing of Guatemala and this Barrios 18 gang, by all means, send a USCIS agent down to El Salvador, his home country, and have that conversation. But instead of actually dealing with these issues, what do we get? Bloviating nonsense. It's 100 days in, we're going to impeach him for what? Oh, he's doing all of these things wrong or whatever. Look, the American people voted for this. They're largely happy with what they want. People have concerns about the economy. His polls are down. That's true. That's fine. But a lot of this is hyper-partisan sophistry intended to rile people up. There's two reasons why I'll tell you Trump's polls are down. And they are down. If you track Rasmussen, he dropped by about 6 or 7 points from where he was earlier. It's a swing, not a drop. He's down by 4. And this is probably due to tariffs. When you look at the corporate press, the principal institutions, ABC, et cetera, he's down in the double digits. However, if you go back to the start of his second term, you can see that the polls completely disagree with each other in ridiculous ways. One day he's up 10. The next day, a new polling agency says he's down 10. The only thing you really need to track is a singular poll's movement over time. And we are.
Wait, hold on. Didn't he just say? But why does that matter? Didn't he just say that didn't he make a distinction between like the what is it, like the I guess you could say like the legacy media, because he mentioned I think NBC and other ones, right? And then like certain other polls, how like he was down, like I guess like it was a swing in like this type of polls, but then a drop in other polls. And now all of a sudden that, and then immediately in the same breath, you're sitting there and you're talking about, well, like, you shouldn't even pay attention to the polls because none of them are even making sense because they don't even agree with each other, where some are up and some are down. But that's just what you just pointed out, right? So you're pointing that out to discredit what, the entire polling. So I guess when there was when he was up in the polls in some, but not quite as high in others, but that wasn't a problem. But when he's down, right? Oh, because they're all the different polls from all the different all completely separate institutions with different ways of like, with different poolings of people they're going to like sit there and survey, right? Since they're all not in a unified don't have unified results, they're not credible. Like it's just so, oh god.
Are seeing a minor decline. That is likely due to 401ks dropping, people being concerned about this. Does this rise to the level of impeachment? No. I think you're doing this largely because you want to get your name out there, because the Democrats have no front runner. No one knows who's in charge of the party. So everyone's clawing to the top of the crabs in a barrel to try and be the pick me for 2028.
All right, Congressman. Congressman, you're just doing this because you're a narcissist, basically.
Well, look, in the first 100 days, his numbers are lower than any other president. You had to go back 70 years. And the only other bad numbers for a president in the first 100 days was Trump 45. So people have spoken.
That's true. So just to be clear, right, in the history of polling, right, Donald Trump was already really low as far as basically the worst rated president. Hey, Brian, what's going on? Good to hear from you. I'm surprised you're even up. It's almost 2 a.m. Kind of shocked that you're still here. But it is crazy that he had some of the lowest, right? I don't think it was quite the absolute lowest, but it was really down there in his first presidency. And now he has actually managed this presidency in his first 100 days to become the lowest rated president in all of history since polling has been tracked. And to me, that's pretty crazy. That's like, man, my man really knows how to make how to break norms for sure. This Monday, let's see, Charlie Kirk is going to be in my friend's campus. I'm going to try and go this Monday. Oh man, that's going to be interesting. And you gotta definitely let me know how that goes. If you're able to make it, right? If not, well, be sure to catch it online. Do you know if it's going to be live stream? If it's going to be live stream, I'll try to watch it. Worst president in the world. That lunatic girl in the top right is insane. Oh yeah, you can see it in her eyes. You can see it in her eyes. She look crazy. But let's continue.
People are having a buyer's remorse. People are, I've spoken to many of Trump supporters, and they are hugely disappointed by his actions, by his failure to fix the economy. That's number one on people's minds.
Okay, Carrie, what's your response to the congressman? Because there are lots of people saying this, and the Democrats have got their gander up a bit.
Everything's been fairly all right. It's just busy with work stuff, but then also too what's the word I'm looking for? Hardware issues have been murdering me something crazy. I was having one problem after another, and it was really getting out of hand. But we look like we're just about there. We are just about there. What do you think about Sinek? Too far left for me personally. He's on the cusp of not extreme left, but really far out there. He's not too bad. I just wish that he was just a little bit smarter about the things he would support. Sitting there doing that tour, trying to talk to people on the right, just because you just want to make it seem like you can get some of them to agree with some of the points you made. It was just a waste of time, because they would never sit there and do the same thing with you ever. So I don't know why you're going through all of that. But I've been doing all right. And, like I said, a lot of tech issues. I got a really beefy setup coming in, or parts coming in that I got to put together, but it's going to be outside of my entire network chain this time. So it's not going to delay me from being able to stream and do all this stuff. So I'm excited for it, because then once I finally get it up and running, I'll have all of the power I need in every single facet of life, and I should be good going forward. So we'll see. Oh gosh. Tired, man. All right, where's my okay, yeah, so I got those up over here now, and play.
Now they're beginning to marshal their so-called resistance in a better way, because Trump's giving them a lot of opportunity to do that. At what point politically do you start feeling twitchy if the tariff war doesn't work how Trump intends it to?
First of all, where did this guy come from? No, with all due respect, this is an idiotic thing to do. And it's proving that the Democrat Party has no play. They don't know what to do right now because Trump is winning on everything. He's strategizing how to fix the economy that Joe Biden drove not only into a ditch, but off a cliff. And this is why the American people were suffering. And it sounds.
Oh, you know what? I don't want that one. I wanted on Firefox. Firefox. Right, it's idiotic, right? It's doesn't make any sense. Okay. Biden. Ooh, is that okay? Cool. Biden impeachment. Impeachment inquiry into Biden. All right. Impeaching Joseph Biden for high crimes and misdemeanors. Impeaching Ways and Means Committee. Let's look at these three. Let's look at these four. Let me full screen this. Impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. Kevin McCarthy, then Speaker of the House and Representative, announced an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. The inquiry was conducted by the House's judiciary. So do understand, right? So the impeachment inquiry, right? The impeachment inquiry. I want to say, isn't the impeachment inquiry like the second step, or is it the very first step? I guess it would be the very first step, and then you could formally introduce articles of impeachment. I guess I'd have to double check on that. But let's see. Into Joe Biden inquiry was conducted, blah blah blah, and I'm looking for the purpose, right? Stating that the recent House investigations paint a picture of corruption by Biden and his family. No congressional investigation had yet discovered any evidence of wrongdoing by Joe Biden himself. The inquiry held a public hearing on September 28, 2023. Despite neither the earlier, let me just look real quick. Okay. Despite neither the earlier Comer committee investigation nor the impeachment inquiry finding evidence of wrongdoing by the president on December 13, 2023, majority House Republicans unanimously approved a resolution to formalize the inquiry. Democrats unanimously voted against the resolution, lacking evidence and Republican appetite to proceed to impeachment hearings with their thin House majority. The March 2024, the impeachment inquiry was winding down. The three investigating committees released a 300-page report on blah, 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 alleging impeachable conduct. Okay. So it's amazing that, right, it's idiotic, right? Because, the thing that the congressman is sitting there introducing, which is just solely just because like Trump is using terrorists, which is in clear, blatant disregard for Congress's like authority and power, and then he's actually doing it at the detriment and damage to the United States, right? Those are all things that's like, okay, you can get that really close to impeachment, right? Besides the congressional thing, right? I don't know if there's anything else really that you could say is like it. Well, actually, I take that back, right? Because I forgot he also referenced the Garcia guy, right? Because when Trump went on that goddamn interview and the interviewer goaded that man to basically say that you could get him back, and he was like, yeah, I could get him back, but like that was it right there. After that, it was a wrap. Because now, right now, like you're basically saying you're disobeying the court order, you're disobeying the Supreme Court order to like do what's necessary to bring this man back, and I could say, yeah, that would actually fall in the lines of impeachment. High crimes and misdemeanors, right? It is probably criminal to sit there and disregard a court order, a Supreme Court order, right? I guess, right? Meanwhile, we had 3 different investigations, right, held against Joe Biden for this alleged corruption, right, that was happening, right? And then their investigation sat there and said that, oh, he had impeachable conduct, but no impeachment was ever pushed. I wonder why. Why not? Why not? Right? Maybe it started all falling apart once they found out that one guy, I don't even remember the guy's name, but he pled guilty to lying to them because he was being fed Russian, he was working for the Russians to sit there and push that about Biden, the whole like part of the corruption stuff. And then Rudy Giuliani's like, oh God, man. I wonder is that man still alive? Rudy Giuliani's still alive? That man was like really old too. He's old just like Trump. Man. Where's Rudy Giuliani? Right? Yeah, Rudy Giuliani. is in contempt of court. When was this? February. Yeah, here we go. Has fully satisfied. Oh, so yeah, that's right. Because his court case stuff is still going, right? And agrees to stop defaming them, right? Because all the stuff he was saying was just straight up lies, right? And remember, this is the guy that was sitting there was also working or helping to get this like alleged corruption dirt stuff on Joe Biden, and none of it ever manifested. None of it ever became real, right? Because like they just never actually had anything. Meanwhile, Trump is actually doing something you could actually argue, yeah, yeah, it's actually probably like the most direct thing to impeachable conduct you could possibly have, right? Because remember, like the Constitution was designed. So this is the thing, right? Article 2 does give the president a lot of power, but Article 2 was also designed in the way it was because of the expectation that the other branches would keep them in check, specifically the legislative branch, right? Right? If the president decides, because the president does have the choice whether to enforce a law or not, he does actually, Article 2 does technically give him that power. However, that's also the reason why Congress has the impeachment power, right? If he's not enforcing a law, then Congress can actually remove him to get somebody else that will enforce the law, right? That's how that's designed. But if you have Congress jacked up the way it is, right, then it is what it is. So technically, yeah, he's impeachable, but it's whatever. It's whatever, It's just all nonsense apparently, right? Meanwhile, like the 3 investigations in the Biden like yielded nothing. MF should be a disgrace to the American people. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know he used to be like the New York governor and stuff, and then like he has all these. Yeah, I don't know, bro. It's gotta be. I just wonder. Is this something in the water? Is this like when you start making a certain amount of money, do you just like, is there like somebody to just come up to you and be like, hey, like here's all of the special things you need to be consuming from this point forward. Don't be consuming the regular food regular people do that turn you out like this, where like you just start doing like the most like stupidest things as you get old. Like God, like what's the there was like a cop. There was a cop. It was like during the Sandy Hook stuff, right? And there was a guy that used to be a cop, and then once he started, you could look at the man. He was like super old, right? He was just hell bent on trying to like find those, the parents for the children that was slain, whatever, to just prove as best he could that they weren't real or actors and stuff like that. And I'm just like, bro, like it's always some like super old person that just sit there and starts like going crazy. I just don't understand it. And there's always just the people that just like, look to be like well off. The man was fat, so I can only assume that he was eating good, so he had to been well off. But that's just my opinion, right? You could be fat and not be well off, I guess, right? If you mismanage your diet. Okay, well, I don't even need to read the rest of this because it's just a waste of time. It's just really a waste of time. That's why I like Wikipedia, because at least like, you can sit there, you can look at the stuff to sit there and back it up. But then after that, you can, it does a good job summarizing everything. Let's go.
To me, like this is a political move to try to put him in good graces with the AOC crowd and the very, very far left radical crowd ahead of another election. This is ridiculous. The American people were sick of the previous attempts of impeaching
a year and
President
a half
Trump
later, right? Is the election.
They don't want to see this again. And I'm embarrassed for this gentleman. I'm embarrassed for that congressman that he's doing that he's fallen to that level to try to impeach President Trump.
Unless they're talking about his local
100
elections.
days
Maybe that's what she's talking about.
Tries to save us from the serious missteps of Joe Biden and that administration that almost broke the backs of every American in this country. What about the fentanyl that's no longer pouring across the border? What about the lives that are saved there? What about...
You better be careful about that one. You better be careful. You know what's so crazy, right? Is that like they don't even understand how like they trap themselves in this, right? They got to be really careful about that, because remember, like part of like what Trump is doing in order to use his tariffs, the tariff Canada and Mexico, is the claim that there is a fentanyl crisis at the border. So how is it that he can sit there and like solve 95, whatever was the percentage they said earlier, right? Basically solved the crisis of the border, and yet the authorization to allow him to do the tariffs on his own is still somehow valid, right? They got to be careful about that. But you see, like, they don't sit there and they don't ever think about that stuff because at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter to them, right? Because they just want to just grasp whatever they can use to just lie to you and then just do whatever it is they want, even though it's a blatant disregard for the law. So they got to be careful with that, because if that simple fact starts to like really spread, right? That can be a death sentence for him, because then basically Trump is most certainly then operating without authorization, because there's no crisis. He solved it. He solved the border. There's no crisis no more, right? No fentanyl. 95% illegal immigration's all down now. That I imagine that has to track with fentanyl. It surely has to, right? They're pouring drugs into the country, right? Those drugs ain't just walking themselves, right? So I'm assuming that's part of the whole, why the illegal immigrants are moving back and forth. And if that's solved, so is the authorization then to do the tariffs on Mexico and Canada. Oh, come on. Man, I don't know why this is so hard to like, just that little fine movement. I might have to switch my mouse pad or something. I don't know why that's like killing me.
A president who's trying to end a war that's killing thousands, tens of thousands of people and costing all kinds of our treasure over in Ukraine. What about that? No, he's trying to concentrate on something to make people all of a sudden know who he is so that he can raise money and run for re-election. I find it despicable. I really do.
Congressman, you're despicable.
Well, that's just what.
No, the action is despicable. I don't know this congressman. I find his actions despicable and political. Rather than going to work every day and fighting for the American people in his district, he's trying to thwart President Trump as President Trump works very hard to try to save this country and get us on the right track.
Okay, Congressman, you're doing despicable things.
Well, look, he has failed on economy, our relationship with our allies.
He's not failed on the economy.
Unimpeachable.
Look, he said I understand, but on day one, he said he's going to fix Ukraine war. He hasn't done that in 100 days. Nothing that he said he's going to do he has done. And, economy is in terrible shape. His tariffs are totally unproductive. And auto industry, I represent Detroit, Michigan. The auto industry is hurting. Auto workers are losing their jobs. Auto factories in America are closing. Look, he hasn't thought this through. When you impose tariffs, you got to be ready.
Tariffs on the auto industry is going to save it, guys.
In America. I agree that more manufacturing needs to happen in America, but it doesn't happen just because he raises tariffs on foreign countries. You need to invest in manufacturing. This is a process that takes tens of years to get this done.
Okay, let me bring in. All right, let me bring in.
Is this Congressman out of Michigan? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
I represent.
And you're not for President Trump. You're not for the tariffs that are going to single-handedly save the American auto industry. Good luck. Good luck getting reelected.
Look, our car prices are going to go up. Domestic cars are going to be more expensive. Foreign cars are going to be more expensive.
Unless, of course, he walks back those tariffs, which I think he did. Made an exception for automobiles.
The American middle class is going to be bolstered and is going to come back alive, and they're going to be able to afford to buy things. And this is, we talked about this last time around. The American middle class was practically gone when President Trump stepped foot 100 days into the Oval Office. Give him a little bit of a chance here. 100 days is a lot to turn around Joe Biden, who, as I said, destroyed the American economy and continued to destroy manufacturing here.
All right, Cheng.
Yeah, so first of all, the propaganda is getting tiresome. Trump has done a brilliant job. You can't find one thing to criticize him over. And, and Joe Biden had destroyed the economy. It was record low unemployment. So you're being preposterous. No one believes you. Everyone realizes it was the tariffs. They had a perfectly good economy handed to him, and at this point has shattered it to pieces. So I'm getting sick of the propaganda. I'm also getting sick of the, with all due respect, this is idiotic. That's not all due respect. I'm not sure you have good command of the English language. Okay. All right. Then don't say all due respect. Second of all, you're lecturing people about how to get
respect
elected.
the fact that he's a
Carrie, let's be
congressman. I
honest.
really-
Let's be honest, Carrie. You and I are not in a position to lecture people on how to get elected. Okay. You haven't won a lot of elections. Neither have I. Okay. So at least I've helped in winning elections. I'm not sure you have. So, and the brother over here in Michigan has actually won an election, but we're conflating two different things. Okay. Number one, we're talking about the polling.
Oh, is that how many he won?
Trump's
He won
down and
4?
hurt. It doesn't matter how much you guys spin it. We're going to have that play out. But that's not related to impeachment. Whether he's popular or not has nothing to do with impeachment. So I don't even know why the congressman brought that up, to be honest. And I think that this impeachment thing is way too premature. What, are you going to get enough Republicans on board? There's no way you are, right? On the other hand, are there actual good grounds for it? There are. You're just not going to be able to execute.
I'm so congested,
The grounds for impeachment are doing things that are illegal or unconstitutional. Has he subverted the will of Congress? Many, many times. They appropriated money, he refuses to spend it. Or he's spending money that they didn't appropriate. Or he's taking powers like the power to tariff that Congress has, or the power to declare war that Congress has. I know that last one every president abuses. But we have massive violations of the Constitution here. The Supreme Court says bring this guy back, Abrego Garcia. Not only that, there was a clear do not deport order, and he violates that order and then admits that it was a mistake, and he still won't bring him back. The problem there isn't immigration, it's due process, which is the cornerstone of Western civilization.
Cheng,
and
do you,
Batia and
but Cheng,
Tim and others.
I
Look,
made
we
the
can
point.
go back and blame others.
Okay, but look, I made Michelle
right, go ahead.
Obama. Michelle Obama piped up about this immigration stuff on X, and I replied to her, and my replies had gazillions of retweets because all I said was, as far as I'm aware, her own husband deported over 3 million people in 8 years. And no one can persuade me that all of those were done with perfect due process, right? But I don't remember anything like the cacophony of outrage from the left when that was going down. And Obama, I've said this before many times, he was the deporter in chief, was his nickname in Mexico. He couldn't get people out of the country fast enough.
Yeah.
Why was it fine for Obama? And why do liberals just try and pretend that never happened? And why is it so evil when Trump throws out a lot of people that...
So, you know, I actually tried looking this up too. So true, right? Because, you know, I actually had the same thought that, like, you know, if you deport that many people, I'm sure, like, you know, surely, like, you had that, like, something had to have gotten, like, messed up or something, right? So first off, there's plenty of articles. There are plenty of articles about like, I guess, like, some of the like due process errors and stuff that happened while Obama was deporting people. Rather than talk about it, let me actually just show. That's actually what I'm going to do. Let me first just make sure. Cool, everything's looking good here. Oh yeah, I had the other one anyway. Right. No, but I don't want this. I want Firefox. Did I close it? I did close it. Come on. Of course. I think let's act up on it, right? Rather than do that, let me just show it. Let me see. What is it? Obama, deport era. I'm gonna say just era. Let's see. The Obama record on this was back in 2017. Speed over fairness. Let's try these first two. Yeah, let's try these first two. And then we'll even throw in Reddit just to see. Okay. So the Obama record on deportation, deporter, chief or not. Yeah, let me see. Do a quick skim here. Blah, 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 blah. Formidable immigration machinery. Blah, blah, blah. Record, a shift to return to removals. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's just cool. Clinton, deportations, Bush. Clinton had quite a lot. Total deportations. Clinton had quite a lot, man. Clinton was pumping them boys out. If this is, like, you know, accurate or whatever. Evolution enforcement, prioritizing criminals and see. So first and foremost, right? Because I remember coming across his policies, right? Obama made it very clear that the very first ones that they were focusing on was strictly the criminals, and obviously the fresh people, right? The people that just enter in, that haven't, like, sat there and, like, really assimilated into society where they're like, they have a job, they're paying taxes, right? So basically paying the Social Security and stuff that they will never be able to get because they're illegals, which helps, you know, prop up the entire system, right? He made it very clear that only these people were the ones to be focused on being deported. And what is Trump doing? Trump is like, nah, like anybody and everybody. Like we tell you we're gonna be getting at the criminals yet. But anybody we come across, i.e. the students, right? You know, revoking the student visas, i.e. like just like the mom with the cancer children, right? Right? Are you going to tell me that Obama would have sat there and deported them, or he would have been like nah, like just we can always come back to them criminals and the people that are just now coming through? Why are we bothering with a mom and cancer children? Like that's just retarded. It's just that's just like completely bad PR. We got plenty of other people we can deport. Why are we even wasting our time on this, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like I just don't get why he's doing this. I don't know why Trump is doing this. He could sit there, he could be crushing all of this if he would just do the deportations right. He could be like, I mean, like really crushing it, like making it like he could single-handedly ensure the Republicans get reelected if he would just do the things, if he just do this part right, if he just do the deportations right, if he would just sit there and handle the tariffs with a little bit more tact, right? If he would sit there and like not let people sit there and cut parts of the government without actually looking at what they're cutting first before they do it, so they don't have like the mess ups, like cutting the people that sit there and manage our nuclear stockpile and then having to go try to find them back. Like, you know, it's just stuff like that. It's unnecessary and it's just stupid. It's just stupid. It really is just stupid. And so like when it comes to the immigration stuff, right? Like Obama and Trump, right? Nowhere near the same. Obama, like the mistakes Obama did, those were like natural, honest mistakes that I didn't dig deep into it, that I'm sure like there was like some, if it was reasonable to rectify, that I'm sure he did. Trump basically just said that I could bring the man back as the Supreme Court has ordered, but I'm not going to do it. Like it's nowhere near the same thing. It's nowhere near the same thing. God forbid Obama had violated a court order and basically said, oh yeah, this is court order, I'm not going to do it though. Psh, please. This was just so stupid, bro. It's just so stupid. But I remember coming across it was a major policy difference between what Obama was focusing on and what Trump is focusing on or allowing. All right. So let me look over here. Speed over fairness, right? Blah blah blah. Yesterday, we used to report the deportation dilemma, reconciling tough and humane enforcement. Blah blah blah. This is 1986. Don't care. Today's removal, only a quarter of people. Only 1/4 of all people facing expulsion get to present their case before an immigration judge. Those judges employed by the Justice Department are experts in immigration law. They conduct formal court hearings where they hear live witnesses. And see, this is what I'm talking about too. This is why like Trump could like sit there and he could bully all of the law firms that he sat there and targeted to like actually fill this gap real fast and start pumping people out. I don't know why he doesn't do that. And that's something I just like, you know, I just thought of on the fly. Like, damn, like he really actually could do it. And maybe even get Congress to like also, you know, pass something to like help solidify that. But I guess not. Since the Justice Department can hire like attorneys to do work for them, I would like to think they could essentially do the same thing for immigration judges, right? And then sit there because it's supposed to be pro bono works. Well, because I don't know if you could work for the Justice Department for free, but maybe again, right? That could be something he could either work with Congress or just be like, hey, yeah, you know, for the purpose of legality, we're going to hire them for $1 a day or a month or something, whatever they could like legally get away with. And it would have been easy. It really would have been easy. And then he would have been pumping people out, but he's not doing that, right? And it's just like, it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. Like there's so many easy dubs. So many easy dubs he could be getting. He can't do it. Let's see. By contrast, non-judicial movements, let me go back, right? They conduct formal hearings, blah, 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 yeah. Applications for immigration relief. By contrast, non-judicial removals are fast-track proceedings, right? Fast-tracked proceedings, okay? Meaning like there's still some process, not just that I identify you, I now put you on a plane and send you on your way without due process. controlled by the Department of Homeland Security, sometimes involving only a single border agent who acts as both judge and jury. Excuse me. Those facing non-judicial removal have no lawyer and no chance to appeal. That's what I'm saying. Like he could literally supercharge this and pump people out. Why is he not doing this? It's just, I'm sorry. I keep repeating that because it really blows my mind that he's not doing this. I don't know why he's just choosing not to do this. A deportation system that heard 75% of the people through fast track, streamlined removal is a system devoid of fairness. And it's seeing this, I'm saying, because at the end of the day, it's still a process. It's still a proceeding. It's still a proceeding where somebody's being heard, right? Now, like, if you wanted to challenge like the legality of a border agent acting as a judge and stuff, you know, you could probably have that discussion, sure. But at the end of the day, right, at least Congress didn't have a problem with it. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, he made a proceeding. The border agent was there in charge of looking over whatever was being presented, right, to make a fair, you know, what the hell is it called? To make a fair judgment. It is what it is. It is what it is, you know. I don't know what to tell you, right? It just goes to show that the immigration system is just so like jacked up. I mean, it is what it is. But again, right? And I show all of this to just reinforce, right, that like even if you found maybe the exact same situation under Obama that's under Trump, I assure you how it got there and the remedies or the things done immediately after is nowhere near comparable to Trump. Okay? Nowhere near comparable to Trump. Let's go to Reddit. A conservative content creator on TikTok stated that 75% of deportations by Obama were done without due process. Ain't it amazing? We just came across, we were just reading an article. We were just reading an article that talked about like how 75% had the border agent thing, right? Not the same as being stuck on a plane and leaving. You could argue the results is like maybe nearly akin, and I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be as fair as I can on both sides, but like it's not the same thing. It just isn't the same thing. I want to point out a couple of things. Those who legitimately claims simply due to their source are wrong. Not every claim is in good faith, but it is our responsibility to investigate the claims before we comment on them. If you don't want to investigate the claims, leave the commenting on them for the people that do, and defer to their research. Apprehensive pop for like giving them the business here, giving them like the intellectual business here. For the people that do, and defer to their research over your assumptions, and defer to subject experts over their individual research. Yes, subject experts. Okay, instead of just the people that just sitting there like the Candace Owens of the, of the research community there. It appears that Obama did violate due process rights of many illegal immigrants and immigrants with protected status. This was pointed out by the ACLU. So now let's look at this. However, those pointing this out have missed something. The ACLU, as far as I can tell, did not challenge the process outlined in this article in courts. Words are cheap. Action is what? Is that what we was just done? Well, yeah, that's what we was just reading. Because at the end of the day, see, that's what I'm talking about, right? You can sit there and say something just like how you can sit there and say Biden had committed impeachable offenses, right? But unless you actually then take the action to actually put that into actual, oh God, what's the word I'm looking for, bro? To actually just put the, where the rubber meets the road and actually like act on it, be about the business that you claim that you're about. Then it doesn't mean nothing. You're just saying, at that point, you're really just saying shit. You're just saying shit that's just basically false, right? Because if it's true, then you should be then taking the specific action. Violation of due process, take it to court. Impeachable offense, articles impeachment and hearing. To go over the evidence, right? If you're not doing any of those things, then what you're telling me is a lie. What you're telling me is just an absolute lie, and I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, you could feel like something is wrong, but if it's legally correct, then there ain't nothing you could do. Like I said, it was still a proceeding. You know what I'm saying? It was still a proceeding. I bet you those 75%, because the thing is, most immigrants don't commit crimes. Most of them don't commit crimes. That's probably how they were able to get away with that too. Because I was saying, if you're dealing with an immigrant that committed a crime, you're talking the full due process, not no random border agent. You have to give that an actual judge. But if you're talking about just a regular illegal immigrant, you can sit there, you could use those expedited proceedings, right? Because it's immigration law. It's immigration law. Whatever the immigration law allows, and if immigration law allows it, it's legal. Sorry, there's no such thing as it's not a violation of due process. You might feel some type of way about it, but it ain't, and therefore it's not the same. So I don't know what to tell them. Hopefully I come across maybe when excuse me. Hopefully I come across where we found actual examples of people. Let me see here. Exiled. Is this another one? Let's go home. These are the closing words of blah, 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 blah. I was lucky once. For the majority of undocumented currently live in the United States, deportations is an inconvenience. It is terrifying, blah, blah, blah. During 2008 campaign, so no one seemed to understand their pain and promised to fix our broken immigration system. Can't do that without Congress, right? You know, you could promise a lot of things. Just like Trump, right? You could promise a lot of things, but if Congress don't pass the laws, and it means nothing. Excuse me, man. Man, my congestion is not playing with me today. Latinos like me rewarded Obama with our vote. I'm confused. Are you having a problem with it with and they're like this is how they live their lives every day. They fear this can't be the same person because you can't vote unless you're a citizen, unless he's like family, unless the Arthur, this must be an Arthur somebody. Okay, yeah. I think this is the actual person that's writing it. I wanted to make sure. Okay. Tonight because he warmed our hearts. 2012 because we believe the second term would free him to get immigration reform done. Regardless of Republican obstructionism. This is another thing I really hate, right? I don't understand why people forget like how government works. Like people just like all of a sudden just like it's like a convenient just like strike of ignorance and a retardation or whatever it is you want to call it, where people just sit there and just think like you like somebody could sit there and make magical changes without all three parts of the government coming together and working with said change. Okay, there's been changes that both Congress and the president have agreed on that the courts have struck down, right? There's been things that Congress and the judges have agreed should be the case that the president would choose to like find a way to like get around it, or maybe even just altogether not enforce it. And as long as there's not enough votes for impeachment in Congress, then it don't matter. I don't know. I really don't know. He has deported more than 2 million human beings, husband, wives, mothers, fathers, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is nothing. Okay, so this is nothing. Decline immigration deportations declined 2014, but remain. Obama deportations versus Trump. Context is everything. And this was in 2019, so now you're worth looking at. Ignores Obama's administration's crackdown on immigration. Ignores has been to erode due process protections by expanding legal proceedings. See, expediting legal proceedings. That's what I mean. Like at the end of the day, it's under immigration law, so it's allowed. Okay, well, that's that. So don't need to look at this. Don't need to look at this any further because, right, as far as I could tell, it was all just policy. It was just a policy disagreements, right? It was all just stuff that was still allowed in law that he was sitting there do. So it wasn't no violation of due process. But my God, will they just sit there and they'll just use whatever. They will just use whatever they can. Fuck, I pressed the wrong button. Hold on, I just want to press this one. There we go. All right, let's get back.
I would imagine most Americans totally agree with. Yes, there are some. Garcia may well be one or not. We don't really know yet whether he was in this gang or not. If he was, then he deserves to be in the El Salvador hellhole. If he isn't and he's innocent, he deserves to come back. But let's not pretend that most of the people that Trump is kicking out were not on the deportation list already and probably deserve to be thrown out.
Yeah. So, Piers, the beautiful thing about me is that I'm consistent on all these things. So when Obama did that, I criticized them. And in fact, when Obama killed Anwar al-Awlaki without due process, I was all over him. That was outrageous. It was and arguably worse than anything Trump has done. And that's where mainstream media loses all their credibility, and Democratic politicians lose their credibility when they're not even-handed. So that was totally unacceptable. But that doesn't make what Trump is doing acceptable. And Trump has he gone further than Obama in terms of turning people back to the border? When you turn people back to the border, as Trump is doing now and Obama did, that is not unconstitutional. But has he gone further? Yes. Did Obama ignore court orders? No. Did he say we should send American citizens to a foreign country like El Salvador?
Exactly.
No.
Nope.
Did Obama say that he'd run for a third term, which is deeply unconstitutional? No. Did Obama kidnap people off the streets of America for criticizing Israel and arrest and deport them? No.
All right, well, hang on. Let me add some.
By the way,
hang on. Let
me finish the thought. There's tons of right-wingers who agree with me.
Let me
Tucker
add some.
Carlson agrees.
Let me add some.
Agrees.
Let me add
Joe
some things.
Rogan agrees.
All right, hang on. Let me add some things to your list. Did Obama campaign in 08-09 on a ticket of closing Guantanamo Bay because it was an illegal torture chamber and he was a lawyer? Yes. Is it?
Are you serious? Why are you invoking Guantanamo Bay? Guantanamo Bay was a place for foreign terrorists. These people were never even in the United States. Right? Am I wrong about that? Hold on. There's no way he's. I have to stop and actually I have to look at that. I have to look at that. There's no way. There's no way. No. Let's take this. Who were the type of people we put in I don't know. Is it? It's like that, right? Guantanamo? Am I correct? Guantanamo. Check spelling. Like, I know you hear me. Tantamount. You know what? I know it'll do it. I don't understand why it's not. Guan. Oh, Tanamo. So I literally just I versus A. Okay. Of all prisoners in Guantanamo, Afghans were the largest group, 29%. Saudi Arabians, Yemens, like France and the King are the most represented in Europe with 16 and 12 prisoners. Like why would you bring up Guantanamo Bay? And Guantanamo Bay was for like foreign terrorists that were never in the United States. Obama wasn't deporting illegal immigrants into Guantanamo Bay. He wasn't talking about putting U.S. citizens in Guantanamo Bay. Oh, did we start putting illegal aliens though in Guantanamo Bay? Department of Homeland Security, all 10 of those illegal aliens are part of the transnational, and he put them into Guantanamo Bay. So now Pierce has defeated his own thing. Fantastic.
It's still open. Yes. Did he deport more people pro rata than any president in history? Yes. Did he drop more bombs in a calendar year outside of World War II than America's ever dropped in a year ever? Yes. Did he run illegal drone programs that killed innocent people at weddings? Yes. In other words, there are lots of things on Obama's watch. Yeah, right. So my point is, you've got to look at these things in totality. If I was an American, which I'm not, but I'm a proud, visa holder, and I have a home in America, I look at the success on the southern border as absolutely stunning. And yet the amount of coverage that's getting is almost nothing. And it says to me that the media remains.
But whose fault is that, Piers?
Well, it's the mainstream. To me, it's the mainstream media. Let me bring in Batia here. Batia, it seems to me that the mainstream media.
No, hold on. You asked me a question. Let me answer it real quick, Piers. So, look, in terms of the criticism of mainstream media that's hypocritical, I just pointed it out. But it's not mainstream media that did this. Trump, if he had just focused on closing the border, right now might be at 55% approval rating, or really high. I mentioned that right in the beginning. But instead, he bungled it because he's a serial bungler. And he keeps testing the limits of his power because he's authoritarian by nature. He didn't have to do those 4 or 5 unconstitutional things that I just listed. He did it on purpose. He's the one punching himself in the face. So don't blame media for that. That was all Trump.
All right, except that Batia, what I would say is, all right.
That's the propaganda.
Tim, I will come to you in a moment. Let Batia just respond to that first.
Well, all of these marginal cases, when you actually look into them, turn out to be not so marginal. You know, Kilmar Garcia did not have an order not to deport him. He had an order not to deport him to El Salvador, so they sent him to the wrong country. But this person is a wife beater and a gangbanger and a human trafficker. He should have been deported to another country. We were let down as Americans because he got a lot of due process and they just didn't follow through because the immigration courts are deeply flawed. You look at these people who were picked up for supposedly criticizing Israel. They both, the two that are,
I'm not going to get into the wife beating thing, right? There was a TRO that the wife later rescinded because they were able to work it out. If that's your grounds for deportation, sure, I guess, whatever, right? I don't recall there ever being any credible evidence that he was a human trafficker or anything like that, unless she's trying to just associate that with MS-13. I think that's probably where she's getting at. She's probably just trying to associate that with MS-13 since she's like assuming he's part of MS-13, right? Because at the end of the day, like, I don't think he had any good reason to be able to stay in the country. So they're just like, yeah, like, you know, I can understand not sending you back to El Salvador because they might mess you up over there, but you definitely can't stay here. So they just need to figure out, which I've said before is like kind of crazy, because I don't know how a judge says that you can be sent to another country when you're not the resident of that country. Like, that's actually kind of weird to me. That's where it starts getting into the gray area about what you really should do about this kind of stuff. Because, like, on one hand, right, we don't want to send people to their deaths, right, to go get, like, raped or killed or whatever. Like, that part I can, like, I think we can all agree with that. But then at the same time, it's like, you don't have no options. It's not like the government, like, I can't sit there and say, okay, well, we can't send you to El Salvador. We're going to send you to the Dominican Republic. Like where could we possibly find a justification for that? I don't think there is any, you know. So it just raises one of those questions. Like, is it just one of those things it just sucks to suck? It just sucks to suck. And I want to be very clear. If we were a little bit more open-hearted, we could easily, like, figure something out. But there's just no will for it. There really just is no will for it for illegal immigrants at this moment. So, like, if we just, you know, we send people to their deaths, we send, you know, women to go back to be raped, like, it's I guess it's whatever. That's just what it is, right? We just sent the cancer children out, right? Which I'm sure is probably going to come up. I'm sure. Oh my God. And it's the lady, right? It's the weird. It's the something's wrong with her looking lady, right? Yeah, I believe she's the one that's talking. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's probably gonna bring that up. No. Maybe not now. Maybe it might come up later. Maybe somebody might like invoke that, you know, might invoke it, and then either she chimes in or maybe the lady at the bottom chimes in. I don't see, you know, Tim Pool. I'm not saying I know him that well. Like, I've seen, like, you know, his content here and there. I actually don't think Tim Pool would even sit there, would actually bother with the children thing. I think he might actually stay away from that. I don't know. I'm making a guess here, but the lady, the two females, they're certainly they're gonna step on that landmine, and it's gonna be retarded because, by the way, like, the what is it? The goddamn dad, right? The mom and children. Where's the dad at? The dad was trying to get a hold of them, but the government was not allowing the mom to be able to speak to him, and then sent them, and then deported them, right? And I wonder if it comes up, we'll look into it. I wonder if I'm pretty sure I believe the dad was a citizen, because otherwise I think he would have just got caught up too, but he didn't. So I'd imagine he must actually be a citizen. So we'll see.
you know, in the news a lot, belonged to a group called Columbia University Apartheid Divest, which put out literature 100% supporting Hamas and the October 7th attack. That is a violation of a green card. We would never have given somebody a visa who said, I'm going to belong to a group that's going to put out literature in support of Hamas. The two children who allegedly are American citizens who were deported, they were not deported. Their mothers were deported, and because their mothers are not sociopaths, they chose to take their children with them rather than calling up and finding someone else to take their 2-year-old children. So all of these supposedly liminal cases are actually...
Damn, that soon? I honestly thought it was gonna be later in the video. I really thought it was gonna be in the video. I didn't know she was also gonna bring it up at the same time. Let me see. Children deported, father. American fact check. DHS not deporting American children. Their mother and father were deported. Mother and father was deported. Oh, so did they actually pack him up too? I thought they only packed up the mother and children. Let me see. Deported to Cuba, mom says she never had an option to take her 17-month daughter with her, who's married to a U.S. citizen who was trying to get her green card, was detained and later deported after an ICE check-in. Was so distraught. Damn, that's terrible. You could tell that the stress was getting. You could tell the stress was just getting to her, man. That's so sad. That's so sad. She, because I'm assuming this is her. She don't look nothing like right here, right now. You can see it. Boy, that's sad. It's sad we do this. It's so sad that we do this. It's crazy. Let's see. So to start, when she got on the rooftop of a house in Havana to get Wi-Fi connection, sent her daughter a bedtime lullaby via WhatsApp. She was deported to Cuba last week without her 17-month-old daughter, who has a history of seizures and was still being breastfed. Well, oh, hey, you can buy formula, right? I'm sure that's what they'll sit there and say. You could buy some formula, all right? And by the way, I don't think, I'm obviously, I don't support none of this, but apparently a lot of other people do. My daughter tells me on the phone, call mama, I don't care. And this part, though, I don't care, right? I just want to know what's the details. Illustrates the stepped up pace of deportations of immigrants who don't have criminal charges or convictions. Even the president said during his election campaign he was going to focus on deported violent criminals first, right? It's just anybody he can do. The portion occurred around the time two other mothers were deported to Honduras with their U.S. children, including one with stage 4 cancer. That child's gone. Well, do they make caskets even that small? Man, that's crazy. In the case of Sanchez, he said everything happened very fast. They never gave me an option to take my daughter. I'm trying to think. I mean, he's a U.S. citizen. I guess it would be better if you sent it. Well, I mean, as long as you don't have no medical problems, right? I guess you can send her with the mom, because then you can always have her go back and forth, or the dad can sit there and do round trips to take her every so often. Yeah, see, man, you can see it, right? And then right here, this is like as the days was coming up, man, she was about to get deported. That's what it looked like. That's sad. But that doesn't seem much of a problem. They just deported somebody who's illegal that probably shouldn't have been deported. She was at a green card interview, and it was like, yeah, you're here illegally. Let's just go ahead and just pick you up and send you along with our criminals. Venezuela has demanded that a 2-year-old girl be returned to her family after the United States deported her parent and kept the toddler in government custody. The U.S. is kidnapping Moki's, damn these names, man. Michaels Antonella Espinoza Bernal, saying she was separated from her brother as she was boarding a deportation flight back to Venezuela. It is also said the girl's father had been deported earlier by the U.S. to Salvador. Oh my God! Once again, committed extremist offenses separating families. The night he kidnapped the girl, arguing it was trying to protect her from her parents, who had accused without evidence of being part of. The father believes he was accused of being gay man because he has tattoos, but he denies he had anything. Again, when a sworn declaration filed in court. Damn. But that's sad. So isn't that kind of crazy? Like how contradictive already we're seeming to find this. When was this article done? This shit was done 3 days ago, man. Isn't it kind of crazy that we're already hitting contradictions that, they're not narcissists, they're not narcissists, and we wouldn't have never allow the child to stay there without their parent, and then meanwhile, Meanwhile, here we are with the thing. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad that these people are just like, they're just full of it. That's why you can just see it in their face. That's why I keep talking about this woman's looks, right? Because you can look at her and you can tell that there's something clearly wrong. It's everything is just not there, because it's just like it's just blatant lie after blatant lie. You could look at people and tell they're just like full of just blatant lies. Like, that's why I like out of that panel, like, I can like, I don't see vibe or be okay with is a bit of a wrong word / phrases I want to use. I can accept Tim Pool. Okay. At least Tim Pool is like somewhat kind of sort of like, I'm struggling here. It's sort of kind of like normal, okay, or whatever. And then Jenkins is Jenkins. It's just like whatever. But these other people, excuse me, these other people, man, I don't understand it. I don't understand where these people come from.
Nothing of the sort. There has been no constitutional crisis. This congressman seems to think that having bad polling numbers is an impeachable offense, is somehow a high crime and misdemeanor. It is utterly laughable, and it's because the Democrats have no agenda. Donald Trump is running to the left of them on economics and to the left of them on fighting wars and being anti-war and trying to get us out of different things and trying to settle wars. And he is a social moderate. He's not even a conservative. There is not a single value that the Democrats hold that they are not willing to immediately abandon if Donald Trump starts to defend it. It was the Democrats who thought that we had to control the border to protect working class wages. And now all you see is Democrats out there demanding free trade and demanding more access to China. You see Democrats literally sharing Chinese propaganda because it's against Trump. They have chosen China over their own working class voters. And Congressman, I'm sorry, but the UAW and the Teamsters have both endorsed the tariffs. You're in a lot of trouble in Michigan.
That's right.
Yeah, well, look, auto factories are being closed. Auto workers are losing jobs. Look, the unconstitutional things. This president tried to the pump and dump scheme. Remember the memes that he profited from? Personally profited from. Remember that freedom of speech, the lawyers who had fought against him, he intimidated those and then.
But what about Congressman? What about the sustained lawfare that was waged against Trump by the left?
Oh my God!
And by the way, one of the most self-harming acts of lawfare ever waged, because all it did was make Trump more popular and ended up getting him re-elected. So it was cretinously stupid to do it, but there can be no doubt that the left conspired collectively to try and take Trump down, put him in prison. You have people shooting him, literally trying to kill him, and all of this led to Trump being in the White House. The Democrats have got their own backyard to clean up first before they start issuing any kind of, well, isn't this all terrible? When the way you treated Trump, many would argue, was despicable. Let me bring in Tim.
I have a favor to ask of this congressman, and excuse me, I hope Jen joins me in this. Congressman, will you file articles of impeachment against Barack Obama for the extrajudicial assassination of Abdulrahman al-Awlaki?
I was not a member of Congress then. I am now. I have seen,
and we can convict him and put him in prison if you want to file those.
I have seen the unconstitutional, illegal.
Sorry, actually, hold on, Tim Pool. I think you must have missed your boy what your boy Donald Trump did, right? Donald Trump can't be prosecuted for things strictly given to him by for his strict Article 2 powers. I'm sorry, right? But if I recall correctly, right, then he what is it? Protect the nation from foreign, like from threats, foreign and domestic, right? Isn't that actually explicitly written in the Constitution? He's commander-in-chief of the armed forces, so he can order strikes. He's charged with protecting the welfare and being of the United States. And if I recall correctly, the guy wasn't the guy that was killed. He was in a car with an actual terrorist. So they sat there and they had to make a choice. It was like, do we try to wait again for when this guy is by himself without somebody to then like shoot him, or do we go ahead and just kill him while there's somebody else sitting in there? And they was just like, yeah, like we can't let him go. Yeah, can't really let him go, and we might not get this chance again. So like, it is what it is, and that's what they chose to do. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what would happen, right? So I'm sorry, but like that whatever it is that you're trying to sit there and cook up Tim Pool will never happen because the Supreme Court has said that it can't. Supreme Court has sat there and ruled that the president is immune from his Article 2 powers. He can't be prosecuted for his Article 2 powers. Sorry, Tim Pool, not happening.
Legal activities of Donald Trump. And those are the ones that I am holding him responsible for.
Nobody cared when Obama murdered American citizens, especially a 16-year-old
Article 2 powers.
who is not a target.
Obama is
who
not the
civilian
president right now. Is Donald Trump is the president? Is the people are hurting? He is the one who is grabbing power. He is the one who's taking power away from Congress, and the funds that Congress has appropriated, he is not releasing those funds. He's putting a hold on that. He's the one that illegally put Doge and a unelected, unconfirmed Elon Musk in charge of it. He's the one who threw out
who they say is not in charge
reporter
of Doge,
from
yet
AP,
in
from
court
White
filings,
House,
other places they say he is in charge of Doge.
Freedom of
It's all
speech
stupid.
of the press.
You're right. I
know,
should get permanent access to the White House. Otherwise, my free speech is being violated. So I'm going to go to the White House right now and insist that I'm much more well known than that reporter is. So it's a clear violation of 1A if they don't give me a pass, right?
Well, he's used his power, his position to intimidate media. He's used that to
so is Obama. This is ridiculous. When Anwar al-Awlaki was assassinated, an extrajudicial assassination, and his 16-year-old son by Obama, the Democrats defended this and they said he should have had a better father. No one cared. Nobody cared. I know Jen cared. I know he's talked about it. I'm mad about it too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I could have sworn like he was just in the car. He was in the car with the president. Like, I'm sorry. Like, could you imagine? That's like saying that, okay, like we're in the middle of World War II and we have Hitler in this location with four orphans that he happened to have right next to him. We could sit there, but we can't, obviously we can't get like boots near him, right, because of the army, but we can do a supersonic missile strike with a missile right there. The only thing is just those four orphans a hold. What do you think they're going to sit there and choose to do, right? It's war. It's a war action. Like all that stuff is calculated into it, and things have to be valued. And unfortunately, like, I'm sorry, right? It was to sit there like a high value terrorist with his child, American citizen. I'm sorry. Like, he had to go. It is what it is. That's what's like, I don't know, bro. I don't know why they sit there and they try to like argue this stuff. It's just it's pretty stupid. It is pretty stupid. I find it to be pretty stupid.
So now when you come out and you say Trump's going to be impeached because he's doing things that are unpopular, I'm personally offended.
It's not unpopular. It's illegal.
Murdered
illegal
Americans.
and
No one
unconstitutional.
did.
Exactly.
And you
It's
could
just illegal.
right now file those impeachment articles. We could get a criminal hearing and a conviction of Barack Obama for the murder of a 16-year-old. The 16-year-old Abdul Rahman al-Awlaki was not a combatant. He was in a civilian restaurant in a country we are not at war with. And why won't anyone do anything about it? I'll throw a cherry on top. When Donald Trump in his first term, when he first gets elected, he ordered a commando raid in Yemen, which reportedly killed a 7-year-old American girl as well. We don't have the same evidence on that one. I want that criminally investigated as well. How about you pursue those cases? But you know what? You won't, because when it comes to bloviating nonsense pertaining to the economy or what Trump may or may not be doing, no one ever goes after the war machine. No one ever tries to target the extrajudicial authorities of the executive branch and their unilateral authority to declare war. There's never been a war declared since World War II, and you're not going to do anything about it. No one will.
Look, this president has personally gained through
I like
the
this I like this congressman. He stays focused.
Personally gained through the deal that he forced.
He stays focused.
Do you believe? Okay, but let me ask you then, Congressman. Do you believe that Joe Biden personally gained from what his son was up to in Ukraine, working for energy companies for which he had zero experience? And he's now given backdated pardons to.
Meanwhile, Jared Kushner right? Meanwhile, Jared Kushner was was put in charge of the Middle East stuff, and then like what, like one day, it was like 1 or 2 days after he left that position, then all of a sudden, like then the Saudis started like dumping money into like his so whatever company thing that he had going to dumping millions. Stop it! Like just stop it! Like I like you like they thrive on you not knowing these things. If you just knew. Like, all you have to do is just ask yourself, okay, if they sit there and bring this up, has the other side done anything like that? Because you saw he was real quick to bring it up with, what's his face? With, God, it was earlier in the show. Why is my brain frizzing out on me, right? He was quick to do it with the deportations about, like, you know, due process and whatnot, but but you're gonna sit there and talk about like whether Biden personally benefited from his son working at the oil company in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Jared Kushner sat there and got millions from. Damn, I keep pressing the wrong button. Sat there and got millions from his work, there's clearly like a directly tied to his work from when he was like in charge of the like some whatever Middle Eastern stuff that Trump put him in front of, and then he just quit so that way he could just legally then just get the money. Or I keep pressing the wrong button. Trying. Close, not quite. Like it's so stupid. It really is just it's so stupid. I'm gonna do this last one and then move on to the next stuff here. Oh, I keep pressing the wrong button, man. So I hate keyboard. I hate the keyboard with a passion, bro. This is why I don't. That's why I prefer not to play. I prefer not to play these type of games. You know, I am realizing that chat looks a little too big. Actually, why didn't y'all tell me? It looks big, man. Yeah, that's fine right there. Hold on. Bear with me one moment while I. Sorry. Yeah, like that. That looks fine. That looks good. Right. And then one day when I have the time to, then I'll sit there and I'll continue building my custom chat thing. But until then, it is what it is. Okay, and then let me get the chats from the other things up. Like I said, I'm paying attention to all of them this time around. That way they don't skip me. And then I'll adjust my power tools to let me like kind of arrange them a little bit easier. Or maybe sideways like this is actually probably the best way. It look like that might be actually the best way to do it. Okay. Where is? Oh, I see what happened there. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm just, pressing the wrong button here. It didn't happen. Wait, so where because it's full screen. I was gonna say, like, where the hell is the video at? Oh, because I'm wrapped in a different. You know what? I'm gonna move you over here. Sorry, on my desktop working with something. I am most certainly am going to pin you. Okay, so now it's not an issue anymore. Why does it keep doing that, bruv? Like, stop it. Okay, fine. You know what? I got you. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna actually physically switch so that way I can actually click on it without any. Oh, that's cool. That was actually pretty dope. You could do that. Then we could switch back. Okay, cool. Oh, I guess I'm good then, right? Or do I? Yeah, I guess I do. I guess I should like make it like this, I guess. Yeah, I need to make this as tight as I can without it being too crazy. All right, we're going to play back the video in a second. Hold on. Can I add a zoom thing? Doesn't really matter much.
All his family to protect any proper legitimate legal investigations of what they may or may not have been doing with countries like Ukraine and China. When there's a widespread belief, they're all putting money in their pockets.
Well, I'm just here.
Widespread beliefs and evidence is two different things, Pierce.
Yeah, but it seems to me, with respect,
widespread evidence,
it seems to me you are
widespread evidence
so
and beliefs
by
is two different
totality of hatred
things.
to Trump and everything to do with him that you can't see the wood for the trees. You can't praise him for anything. And actually, you're not interested in any crimes committed by Democrat presidents. You're not interested in any money guzzling behavior by the previous incumbent of the White House. All you care about is Trump. And it would have been a little bit more intellectually honest if you had cared a little bit more about what your own party were doing, because they've been up to a lot of no good for quite some time.
Well, look, I had 12 in-person town halls in the last 40 days. I've talked with hundreds and thousands of people all across America. And people are, we worry about now. Donald Trump is the president today. He's the president for the last 100 days. His unconstitutional activities is what we are talking about here. And that's what my impeachment action is all about.
All right.
So that's really why I'm here.
This is just a way to
Can I
raise
defend
money.
the congressman a little bit?
This is just an attempt
So
to
look,
raise
guys,
money for this
you're all going to whataboutisms here, and I can understand why, because Trump's in bad shape. So you're going back to Obama. Look, I agree with Tim on the Anwar al-Awlaki. I'm the guy who brought it up. I wonder if Tim agrees with me on cutting the Pentagon, because Tim, you and I agreed on cutting the Pentagon when I was on his show. And now all of a sudden they're not cutting. They're adding $150 billion. So they're frauds, right? Let's be honest about that, right? So, but we're going to whataboutisms here. We can go back to Grover Cleveland if you guys like, right? We can go back to James Polk if you guys like. But you're trying to distract from what's happening with Trump. I'm perfectly willing to criticize all the other Democrats in the past for all the things that they've done wrong. But right now, we got to rescue the country. And so at this point, there's two different problems. One is that Trump keeps doing things that are unconstitutional. And to your earlier point, Piers, that is not what people voted for. In fact, the reason Trump disavowed Project 2025 is because it was really unpopular. Now that he's actually doing Project 2025, yeah, it's really unpopular.
But what about
That's
this,
not
Cheng?
what
What about
people
this,
wanted.
Cheng?
They just want.
But Cheng, but what about this? Look, I saw what Caroline Levitt said in her statement about 100 days. In his first 100 days, Donald Trump's delivered on hundreds of promises and already accomplished his two most important campaign goals. The border is secure and inflation is ending. The next 100 days will consist of trade deals, peace deals, and tax cuts. More American greatness on its way. Now, putting aside any partisan kind of flavor to all this, and putting aside that clearly right now things look quite bad for Trump, I could easily see a situation in 100 days' time, maybe not quite as quick as that, but certainly not far off it, where he might well have got a number of advantageous trade deals done, including China, where he could have forged peace in Ukraine, bringing an end to that war, and might well have done the same in Gaza, in which case he would be odds on to win the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, this is not, in other words, it's all very turbulent, it's all very chaotic, but I could absolutely see a pathway to that all happening in the next few months. It could happen.
What if he
what if he turned into Santa Claus?
I don't know the keys.
Yeah, what if he turned into Santa Claus?
Which part of that do you think may not happen?
Out presents to everybody.
Yeah, but Cheng, which part of that may not happen?
I think all of it might not happen. In fact, Piers, I think absolutely none of that is going to happen. That's why I formed Rebellion PAC to give people a left-wing populist alternative, real economic populism. People should go check out rebellionpac.com. Because we've got guys like Ro Khanna, Richard Ojeda, and other people who are actual populists who are going to do the things that Trump promised on the economic end and has not delivered. So, Piers, could he do one or two trade deals and then call it a day and pretend that he got a victory? He could, but it wasn't a victory. And if he keeps these tariffs on
Boom.
with China and
There we go.
others, soon we're
This
going to
is
have
where
empty
stuff is starting
shelves.
to
And
really
all of
take
this
off.
bloviating is going to be totally irrelevant.
Damn.
Because once those empty shelves hit or the higher prices hit, I mean, we had the stock market downturn. That's not even the big problem. That's already...
Isn't it interesting, right? If you look at this, right? Data source from U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, okay? So 2020, everything crashed, right? 0.1 is wild. 0.1 is wild. Damn, 2009. Oh yeah, that's when this is actual recession here. Stuff is in the negatives. Jeez, negative 2.1. What the hell day was that? July 2009. How the hell did my parents survive? Negative 2.1%. Sheesh. But anyway, right? But 2021, right? Because I want to say, like, after Trump got packed up in November, like politically, for all of the ignorance that he did in mishandling COVID, right? We sat there and did our thing to bring us back from COVID, started getting people back in work and stuff, and then boom, right? Then stuff started to take off, the inflation, and yeah, it started getting high. 6.8, 7.0, 4.7, geesh, 7.7, 8.6, 9.1. Damn, was there ever a double-digit inflation rate? 9.1 is wild. That's when they started complaining, like, yo, like, stuff is starting to, like, price-wise is starting to take off. We need to do something. Like, we really need to do something. And it's not looking all that. Not looking all that good. So, but when was Inflation Reduction Act signed? In August 2022, right? So here we go, right? So August 2022, you can sit there and say that, yeah, it did its thing, right? It's something in August 2022, right? And of course, something that's signed in doesn't immediately take into effect, but it should, like, at least like at the beginning of the following year, if it's gonna be a massive legislation, right? Or maybe like you could argue like maybe 3 months. I would say like maybe 3 months after signature, then things get rolling. But it was signed in August. 1, 2, 3, right? So 3 months now, it should start going into effect. Okay, 6.5, right? It's December. 8.0. What the hell is this? Oh, the average. I think that's the average. So the average for the year. Okay. Oh. Isn't that crazy? I said 3 months, and yeah, it actually tracks pretty well. 6.5, 6.4, 6.0, 5.0, 4.9, 4.0, 3.0, 3.2, 3.7, which is like a surge. I guess, I don't know. Right? And then back down, up a tiny bit, up more, right? Back down, rise a little bit, down a tiny bit, down quite a bit, down. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, as far as the inflation rate, yeah, like he was doing what he needed to do. He brought the stuff down. So, and then 3.8, 2.8, 2.4, right? As the stuff is recovering, but let's see what happens in July. I'll be really curious to come back to this in July and see like where inflation rate is. I would actually project it to be much higher than this, but we'll see.
He's already hit an iceberg with that, but that's the tip. The actual iceberg is the American people, and when their prices start.
Yeah, give me a minute. Let me just go freshen up. Or freshen up, right? But let me just use the bathroom real quick, up my drink a little bit, and then get back to it. So, yeah. Okay, I'm back. And as a matter, well, I don't want to mess up my hair though. I don't want to mess up my. I was gonna take this off, but okay, let's get back to it. Right.
Going up, and when they start seeing empty shelves, they're going to be furious because it's the exact opposite of what they voted for. And then you guys can come on here and start talking about Chester
I'm definitely going to get everybody
but it ain't
back.
going to make a difference.
Don't worry, I'm going to get everybody back in 100 days because I've got a feeling it won't play out how you think, Chem. I may be wrong. Carrie,
I love the fact that Cenk calls what he does all day bloviating. I agree, and I think if we pulled that, most of America would agree. But President Trump has to do the hard work. He's assembled an administration full of hardworking human beings. They sometimes they have a misstep, but they're heading in the right direction for America. It's not an easy job. He's taking a lot of criticism because people like Cenk have to bloviate all day, to use his words, and he's got to have something to talk about. And he would lose the audience he has if he started talking about how incredible this agenda has been and the rolling out of this agenda. It's not going to be perfect. We're living in a real world here, and we're having to pick up the pieces and clean up after a dismal administration that the congressman sat by and didn't do anything about. First of all, I've never heard of this gentleman. I never heard him talk about how disastrous the economy was under Joe Biden. And I think it's really appalling for the people of Michigan. It used to be a middle-class state. It is an important state when it comes to our automaking here in America, the industry, and to hear that there is a congressman from Michigan who is opposed to this tariff plan to bring back the manufacturing we so desperately need and the middle class needs in Michigan and all 50 states. It's pretty shocking.
You got to be ready to bring manufacturing back. Trump has done nothing to establish incentives to bring manufacturing to America. And just putting these tariffs on foreign countries just doesn't solve the problem. We are starting to see auto factories closing. We're starting to see auto prices going up. We're starting to see auto workers losing jobs. These tariffs are not good for Michigan, and these tariffs are not good for America, and these tariffs are raising American prices. This is like a Trump sales tax on consumer goods for America.
Let me bring in Batia. I mean, Batia, it's interesting to me to see a number of Trump, big supporters breaking ranks a bit on tariffs. Elon Musk clearly is very anti them. The Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy, been very critical. Bill Ackman, the big billionaire investor, Ken Griffin, another billionaire investor, they've all spoken out against them as well. And we've just seen what I would think is quite a worrying moment for the Trump camp, which is what's happened in Canada, where you've got a liberal candidate who's come from...
You know what I actually realized? How come we sit there and we believe billionaires and companies on like saying that tax cuts are good for America and help us like create jobs and stuff, but then we won't listen to them when they say that prices are going to increase from the tariffs? Like, isn't that kind of strange? Makes you think what those tax cuts are really actually for. I'm just saying. Can't hack because you most certainly cannot have it both ways.
An apparent obvious defeat to seize victory by running on an anti-Trump ticket because of the way Trump spoke about Canada. I just think he's got to be careful, Donald Trump. I could absolutely see this working, but I could also see it blowing up in his face. It's a high risk stakes that he's playing with here.
Yeah, rich people hate tariffs because they're supposed to. They are class warfare on behalf of the working class against the elites who have pillaged America's middle class for the last 40 years. We have sold out our children's future to China, which owns just trillions of dollars of U.S. Treasury bonds. That is not good. We get cheap crap from China. They get our children's future. Our kids are going to be paying off the interest on that debt for generations. They manufacture the PPE and the pharmaceuticals we need to fight the pandemics that come from China. They manufacture the ships we are going to need to fight China, our greatest
But I
adversary.
agree with you.
This is
See, I agree with you.
unsustainable, and
Listen.
I know.
Yeah, but I agree with you. The question
I'm
is
just saying, like, it was going to.
Is the
Pierce,
tactic? Here's my
nobody
question
else
for you.
had
Look,
any
it's the
idea
I don't
how
think
to-
anyone.
okay,
back
go
to you.
ahead.
Hang on. I don't think anyone disagrees with the overarching narrative that Trump has laid out, which is China's been ripping off America for decades. It has. It, as you say, it owns a lot of American debt. Very bad for America. All the experts in the American economy have led to an economy with $37 trillion of American debt. If that's a success, I'd hate to see a failure. You know, this is an economy that Elon Musk keeps warning is extremely perilous longer term and could easily end up with America going bankrupt. So Trump is doing radical stuff. I get it. The question is, will the way he's going about this, as many economic experts fear, will it blow up in his face and make things a lot worse? It could.
So here's the point, Pierce. No one else had the guts, the courage, or a plan for how to address this.
This is the simplest way to silence snoring at home.
I tried these popular anti-snoring solutions so you don't have to. And there's only one that worked. Mouth tape is just plain dangerous. Ever tried taping your mouth shut at night? Look, I did, and I woke up in panic, ripping it off just to breathe. Mouth tape belongs in your junk drawer, not in your face. Those cheap mouth guards are just plain bad for you. You can't adjust them. They are huge and uncomfortable, and most people can't even sleep with them. These ones.
Getting yourself weaned off of an addiction to cheap crap from China was always going to be difficult. And that is why nobody did anything about it, even though, as you say, Pierce, we all agree that this had to happen. There was no easy way to do that. There is no easy way to get countries around the world who have been fleecing us with their tariffs to suddenly decide, oh, you know what, maybe this is not okay. Maybe we should stop enriching our elites on the backs of the American working class. What Trump did was he actually, it's really amazing. There is now a 10% global tariff, which the world is actually relieved about because it came down from the heights of Liberation Day. Like, do you understand what a feat that was? That is seen as an improvement from countries that for decades have been fleecing us with their own tariffs. So this was always going to be hard. I have not heard a single other plan for how to get American manufacturing back to America. And it's just nonsense that Trump hasn't done that. He has $1.5 trillion in manufacturing committed since the day that he took office. Nobody else was able to do that. And to do that, you need a carrot and you need a stick, because American corporations are not suddenly going to wake up and be like, oh, maybe having a sense of what it means to have prosperity for our entire nation is more important than our quarterly reports. That was never going to happen without a little bit of pain.
Okay,
well, we're all good with tax cuts.
I want to wrap things by asking all of you.
I don't understand
all
how,
of you to give Trump a grade. We can have A to E or an F for fail. Cenk, this is the 100-day grade for the president, Trump.
Or maybe a D for Cenk.
Yeah. Look, because he's so wildly unconstitutional, I want to give him an F-, but I'm fair. He did close the border, and he is taking a lot of action. I think it's bad action, but at least it's something. So I'll give him a solid D.
A solid D. Batia?
A+, but I really admire Cenk, because I see you struggling to be fair, and even though I disagree with you, I admire that. I have to give him an A+. I think this has been, I never expected a president to fulfill this many campaign promises ever. Certainly not in 100 days.
Before I ask you, Carrie, just to
thrilled.
be clear, you can't go above an A+.
You can't do 2 pluses?
No.
I'm going to give him an A+ because he has followed through on his campaign promises. The people of this country are getting what they voted for, and they're ecstatic about it. And I believe that this congressman will really regret the day when he looks back historically and sees what an incredible, transformative President Trump will go down in history. He will be embarrassed about it. I cannot take this fake impeachment garbage seriously from a guy who looks like he pinned a squirrel on his head. He needs to get serious.
Wow.
and
Go-
start
go-
fighting for the
Wow.
people of Michigan.
This is what-
and
this is
stop
what-
fighting the president who's trying to help the people of
These
Michigan.
boy, you better
When you
call
don't
her
have
like some
a
fake
good
baby,
argument,
some fake
you attack personally.
doll.
That's what you
Yeah.
do. Look,
Yeah.
this
Better call her-
president
if you don't get your
it has done illegal, unconstitutional
full of
activities.
plastic looking.
He has ruined the
I would have been going
economy.
in, bro. I would have been
People
saying all
having
kinds of
buyer's
just random
remorse about
stuff.
him.
Okay,
I would
give me a grade, Congressman.
I would give him an F minus.
F
for
minus.
the
Okay.
damage that he has created
And here's,
in
and
America.
here's a fact for you, Carrie Lake, you may want to think about. The congressman, I've just been told, is 70 years old. You look about 50. What's your secret?
Well, he should
Well,
be a
again, it's
little.
not about
He should
me,
be.
it's about America.
He should
It's
be
about
more
America.
wise. At the age of 70, I would hope he'd be more wise in
Can
actually.
we at
fighting
least
for-
agree he looks the most youthful 70-year-old I think we've ever had on Uncensored. So he may have a squirrel on
pretty
his head,
good.
not
That
my
is pretty
words,
good.
yours, Miss Lake, but he looks pretty good for 70.
Well,
He looks
just want
amazing
America
for
to look-
70.
Well, look, I want America to look good and America's economy to do better and American people be able to afford things
Okay.
and have a better life.
Well, the beauty of all this is I can get you all back in 100 days. We would have asked Tim Pool, but we lost him. We had a technical issue there. I'm going to think that Tim might have given him a B, I think, if he was fair. Possibly an A, but I think he may have gone B.
I think he would have given him an A.
Maybe. Well, we'll find out afterwards. And if I got that wrong, I'll correct it next week. But thank you all very much to my team. And we'll get you all back to talk about 200 days and 300 days. There are only 10,000 days left of Trump, unless he decides to run again. So we shall see. We shall see how it goes.
No.
But I appreciate you all coming on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Piers.
Piers Morgan Uncensored is proudly independent. The only boss around here is me. If you enjoy our show, we ask for only one simple thing. Hit subscribe on YouTube and follow Piers Morgan Uncensored on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And in return, we will continue our mission to inform, irritate, and entertain. And we'll do it all for free. Independent, uncensored media has never been more critical, and we couldn't do it without you.
Hi, I'm Brett.
Yeah, I gotta get this
And I'm
employee,
Jonathan.
man. I gotta get an
This
employee.
is Darla, and this is Buddy.
Are doing this
We're
by
the
yourself,
founders of
man.
the Farmer's Dog.
We've made an entirely new way to feed your dog.
It all started with my
As a
first
matter of
dog,
fact,
Jada.
what's up, Fred?
I got Jada in my early 20s.
Oh my God,
It
these
was just
ads.
love at first sight. She was the most.
Don't worry. Sometime this year I'll make it
Hassan Piker.
premium.
Hello, Hassan Piker.
What's going on?
Oh yeah, here we go.
Well, I'm
Now
doing a
we're
debate.
in.
What about you?
Oh yeah, can't I?
That's what I'm doing as well. All right. Wait, hold on. Oh, are you going to show me all the time as well on the Zoom?
No, just when you're
talking.
Here, I can fix that. 1 second. Let me just set it to Ethan's
Yeah.
output here.
If you want-
there you go.
If you want, just show like not just Ethan, but yourself as well. If you're going to talk, like that's fine.
Hey,
I don't know if
Hassan,
it makes you
leave the
difficult.
production notes to my team. You can
Well, I mean-
switch your show how you like.
Well, you know, they were my coworkers as well, Ethan.
Well, it's been a
for 2
while, my
years.
friends, and guess
Yeah, I
what?
know.
They are not now.
No, I know.
So let's start. I mean, so you did this content
Okay,
cup, right?
this is
And,
great.
did that go how you expected? It seemed.
Wait,
didn't
why
seem
did I
to
that? Why do I have?
hit very
But
hard.
Before
Hold
we
on.
get started, can I lay some like ground rules so we can have like a productive conversation?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, I wanted to come on
This is
to
so good.
make this as issue specific as possible. But yes, you have grievances with me, and
Okay.
of course, I think they're valid to address.
Okay, good.
Of course, we'll talk about that. Hopefully, I'll be able to
Okay, I was being
address some
not necessarily
counterpoints as
petty,
well,
but
if
sure.
you will allow me.
I was like, something for frauding me because I was thinking I was getting the regular one. I didn't want, I don't want to get like somebody else's shit. Destiny. I don't want Hassan's H3 podcast. Why do I not have it? How's it already played that far? There's no way it's played that far. I've never watched it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But just
Do you think it's
All right, your
appropriate?
yeah, I'm like Brad. Like, oh my God, bro! Why is the chats playing around?
Hello, everybody. It's your host, Ethan Klein. It's the H3 Show. The date is the 2nd of May, and it is the long-awaited Leftovers reunion. How nice. We're back together. And it's going to end a lot better than the second time, right? Or, I mean, it's going to end a lot better the second time than it did the first time, right? How could it be worse?
I would love for that to be the case, sure.
Hassan is calling in, of course, at 12:30. I have 10 minutes to schlep around here. So I want to say, first of all, thank you to Shopify for sponsoring us. I also want to thank my lovely wife.
Sponsored by Shopify. Hell yeah.
For sponsoring us. Quickly, if you go to teddyfresh.com, we got the new collection out right now with some killer styles.
Can I get
this
off?
black dress. This shirt is super freaking cool, dude. That's sick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wait till you read this.
Oh, this thing's a waste of time. Hopefully the employees can use this, because how would I?
What does it say?
I can't read it. Oh, it's Mbop lyrics. It's the lyrics to Mbop.
What is that? What is it?
Hanson?
Wait, yeah. It's
Who even
What's-
remember?
what is-
Nobody
what does F
younger
do?
than me remembers Hanson.
I remember Hanson.
What? No shot.
Oh shit, my bad, fam.
Who doesn't know Mbop?
Dude, Zach remembers the
He
70s.
should have.
You guys know the Mbop, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You know Mbop? Yeah.
No,
you love
they
it.
don't
Okay,
know
you can
Mbop.
honk.
So that's what that is.
Why is
Very
S not
hard.
letting
Like that.
me?
Whoops.
Okay.
Quickly moving along here. We are trying to beat the tariffs, folks. Come check it out. We got
Oh,
cool
I
shirts. We
got
got
out.
cool tops.
Damn.
We got one that says "Tired Mom."
I'm not using this.
We got one that
shit.
says
You
"Hot
know what?
Mom." We got
You
one that
know
says
what?
"Cat Mom."
I'm gonna go ahead.
What are you
Yeah,
feeling?
bruh.
Get all three and wear the right one for the mood of the day.
Right.
Beautiful skirt. Come on, guys. We got jewelry. Oh, these are sick. These earrings.
Ela wants me to remind you that it was your design.
I know. I know it was. The thing is, I remembered it was lyrics. I didn't remember what it was.
I have bibimbap socks on me. Today, you want to see?
Yep. Mbop.
I have bibimbap.
What does it say?
What does it say?
It's the Korean dish
Yeah,
of
I'm gonna put this.
bibimbap. Isn't that a weird
Oh,
coincidence?
similar.
It's a
worth
weird
it.
coincidence.
It's a Mbappé day.
I felt like I had to point that out. It's such an
think-
interesting
Yeah,
coincidence.
yeah. Important.
I always thought Ethan was tweaking. I didn't know he had that shit.
Well, also, I should have
Oh, bro,
disclosed
what
up
the
front
hell
that I
are
have
they
Tourette's.
talking about?
To
Who
wife.
the
I should
hell is
actually do
that?
Right? I'll do that.
I've never been
Disclosure.
for that.
So let me just thank our sponsor, and then we'll probably just hop on with Hassan Abbey, the one and the only. Thank you to Shopify for sponsoring us today. Man, I love these guys. If you're looking to make the move to e-commerce, to be your own boss, sell stuff online, it's time to make the move to Shopify and take that chance for yourself. And by the way, you'll be doing it with the best e-commerce platform out there. Why is it the best e-commerce platform? Well, me and Ela made it from the day one when we made Teddy Fresh. It was the best thing we ever did. It's incredibly easy to use. We have no programming or HTML experience. And from the first day, we had a fully functional website that was accepting credit cards and different online payments. And it was like we were rolling from day one. You can also scale it up all the way as far as you want to go. They have like a whole list of approved programmers that will help you customize anything you want outside of their template or what they style, whatever they call it. Yeah, and also they've got the
liquid
best converting,
templates. It's liquid
checkout of
templates
anyone
for
in the business.
Shopify.
They've got a great system where they email people that left stuff in the cart. Hey, did you forget? Hey, did you forget this? You be, oh yeah, I forgot. You buy it. It's all set up for you. It really is. And the best thing is, guys, besides them supporting us and being great. And by the way, I should mention zero downtime. In like the 7 years we've been running Teddy Fresh, not a minute of downtime.
Wow.
That is insane.
That's pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy. I'll take that. Best of all, guys, you can try it risk-free. If you go sign up.
10 years?
Well,
you say
risk
10
$1 a
years,
month.
like
Is that okay?
no downtime is actually pretty.
You can't afford $1 a month,
good.
then you're not ready for this game.
Unless he
offense.
doesn't think it,
Yeah, no
maybe it
offense.
was like in the
Not
middle of the
$1.
night. I'm sure there's
turn
been
your
like
big
some
business idea
maintenance
into
as well.
cha-ching.
Maybe that actually
With
hasn't been
Shopify on your
maintenance
site.
thing.
Sign up for a $1 per month trial and start selling today
Not
at
for a commerce site,
shopify.com/h3.
so I
Go to
guess.
shopify.com/h3. One more time, baby. Shopify.com/h3 for $1 per month trial. Thank you.
Because you know, like for commerce stuff like that, you can always just put
Very good. Very good.
All right, well,
what is the word? You can always put a like a secondary server that just gets active when you take the other one down for maintenance and upgrades, and then once you put that one back up, then you can upgrade the other
First time
one.
ever.
Yeah,
That's so
the
funny.
first Friday he's a no-show.
I have a different palette cleanser since Gary was in here. We got a puppy. This is
It's a
Rocky.
dog.
Rocky,
This is Lena's puppy.
Oh my god.
so
Yeah.
cute. He's so sweet.
I'm playing with Rocky today.
Careful.
You've had him for one day,
One day. Yeah.
No.
and how did you do last night?
It was a long night.
Careful, you
but,
don't know if he got
his
rabies.
cuteness made up for it. I didn't sleep last night at all.
Jeez.
Yeah.
How come you didn't sleep?
I think it was him combined with today's episode.
Come on, give me the box.
A lot going on.
Okay.
Also, you usually don't sleep
All right,
anyway,
let's go
right?
ahead.
On top of all that,
As I grow older, I sleep more.
you've been sleeping
God,
more.
okay.
Still not
Okay.
great,
Okay.
but
I was
whatever.
trying to let it
He's so
play a
sweet.
little
You
bit,
guys are gonna
but
love
like,
that dog.
bruh,
That dog's
like,
gonna
God
improve
damn,
your life,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Gonna make you guys.
It's awesome. Lena's never had a puppy before.
I
He hasn't
haven't heard him
barked.
bark or anything
Yeah.
all morning.
Well, is he queued up?
Huh?
Is Hassad in the room?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the dog.
Is the dog queued up?
dog's ready
Yes,
to go.
he
Dog
is in the
queued
waiting
up?
room. Would we like to begin?
Yes, sir.
Actually,
All right,
the argument.
let's
Stand by.
I do not want to hear
Stand
none
by,
of this
stand by.
bullshit
I'm
about some
afraid
dog.
to
Man.
introduce Duck because he's so intense.
Yeah.
I gotta let your dog grow a little bit.
Yeah. It's not gonna be long before I feel like we're gonna have a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A second puppy live.
All right,
Second
folks,
puppy? He's
that's
not
enough of the
neutered?
Dog chat. It's time.
You didn't take
Welcome
his
to the show,
balls off,
everybody.
so make sure he
Hassan
doesn't, like, you know,
Hello, Hassan Piker.
get people
going on?
pregnant.
Well, I'm doing a debate. What about you?
That's what I'm doing as well. All right. Wait, hold on. Oh, are you going to show me all the time as well on the Zoom call?
Here, I can fix that. 1 second. Let me just set it to Ethan's
Yeah.
output here.
If you want-
there you go.
If you want, just show like not just Ethan, but yourself as well. If you're going to talk, like that's fine.
Hey,
I don't know if it's
Hassan,
too difficult.
leave the production notes to my team. You can
Well, I
switch
mean-
your show how you like.
Well, you know, they were my coworkers as well, Ethan.
Well, it's been a
for 2
while, my
years.
friends, and guess
Yeah, I
what?
know.
They are not now.
No, I
So
know.
let's start. I mean, so you did this content cop, right? And I mean, did that go how you expected? It didn't.
Oh
seem
yeah,
to-
there go the hostilities
Before-
out the
before we get
gate.
started, can I lay some like ground rules so we can have like a productive
Okay,
conversation?
sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, I wanted to come on to make this as issue specific as possible. But yes, you have grievances with me, and
Okay.
of course, I think they're valid to address.
Okay,
Of
good.
course, we'll talk about that.
That dog is
hopefully
passed out
I'll be
back
able
there.
to address some counterpoints as well, if
Sure.
you will allow me
Of
in
course.
that process.
Absolutely.
But before we get started on anything, I would like to potentially talk about definitions, so we can have like an established definition on a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about. Is that okay with you?
I mean, it depends how many definitions you got. What do you want to define? I don't want to get bogged down in this. So
I'm also experiencing audio issues on my end, so
Sure.
hold on
Go
one
ahead.
second.
No worries. No worries.
Okay. All right, so you're fine with that?
I
you
mean,
doing over here,
up
girl?
to a point, yeah.
Better,
I mean,
you better.
like,
I don't want to get bogged down in a
I'm not
conversation.
like a
We don't do
guy.
that. We don't
No, I
do
know,
that
I
hooker
just wanna
stuff
go.
over here. Man. Yeah, I'm a
So first and
respectable
foremost, I think we
enterprise.
should define what Zionism is and what you mean by Zionism and what I mean by Zionism. so you
Zionism
understand where I'm
is
coming from.
the belief that Jews should have their own homeland in the historic Palestine area. That's it.
Okay. All right. So
About those
I
words.
believe that Zionism is a religious ethno-supremacist ideology that revolves around the exterminationist policies of removing the indigenous population that lived in, as you said, historic Palestine, as long as they are not Jews, because it's a religious, ethno-religious supremacist ideology. I think that this is a disagreement that you and I have.
No, I agree
on
with
this
you.
front.
I agree with you. If you want to add that, like the genesis of Zionism included, the displacement and the ravaging of the culture that existed there, then I would agree with you. I mean, I don't think that the establishment of Israel was like a good thing. I mean, it was tragic and a lot of bad things happened. But let me ask you, sir.
Okay.
How was filming that content? I just have to know what you were thinking as they were doing the
No,
Fortnite L behind you.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
No.
We'll get to that.
We're
Hold on.
here. I don't want to talk about
Okay.
definitions. You got your Zionism. Let's
I
do
think, okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was fine.
Did you not?
I've participated in other YouTube videos as well in the
No,
past.
but that
you know,
Fortnite
some
L
of them- Some of them feature sketches.
I noticed
Okay.
you weren't in the other shots. Why was that?
I think I was being interviewed
Oh, really?
by
Who was
a
interviewing you?
journalist while that was happening.
Really?
I don't remember.
Really? Oh, that's convenient. I think you were embarrassed, frankly. You were absent from every other shot. I think you saw
Wait,
him doing
why
that.
would I be-
I think you saw him doing that Fortnite dance, and you said, "I gotta get out of this." And by the way,
No, I
I'm
don't
giving you
care.
credit for that.
I mean, Ethan, you're a comedian. You know, you participated in some sketches. You know, it
Not in that.
happens.
I mean, you should. Yeah.
Really? You're one of your most famous sketches. You in a fucking diaper. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, we've done funny things.
Okay, you know what? Let's not
Loosely
debate
bad.
the merit of our comedy. You're right. I'm very hacky, and so are you.
Okay, so-
by the way, you believe
yeah,
that the
that's
likes
fine.
were botted on that.
What?
You had said you thought the likes were botted on the content cop. Do you still believe that?
What? The likes were botted on the content cop?
The
I don't- I have
dislikes were
no idea.
botted. The dislikes, sorry. Yeah, you said it was brigaded and was botted. It was unnatural. The dislikes on the video.
I don't really care about this. I don't know. I mean,
Well, I'm asking-
I
I
don't
don't care
recall
if-
saying this, but I don't know why
You
this
did
is a
say
main point
it.
of contention. All right, so you
No,
asked
no,
a
no, no,
question.
no, no, no.
Let's get back to some other
Hold
definitions.
on. Let me finish, and then you can do your definition.
Okay.
Did you think it was?
Well, it's not my definition. I want to hear your definition.
That's fine. I'll answer how you like. Do you?
I hope you know that, like, you know, I don't know if you know this, but I didn't publish the content cop. iDubbbz did.
Yes, I know that, and I've addressed
Okay,
him
good.
thoroughly.
All right,
do you know that? Do you believe he should have included the context of the CPS call?
What?
What? You don't know what I'm talking about?
Wait. I'm a little confused. You are asking me
Yes.
what my opinion is
On the video.
iDubbbz's content cop.
Correct. That's correct.
About the CPS. I don't know. Maybe. Sure. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I think it was more so about like your year-long conquest of deplatforming and also
Right. Well, 90% of the clips were from the episode entitled "CPS Came to My House." Hassan. I don't know if you think that's an important detail. I sure do.
Ethan, I think you know my position on this, as I made it very clear. I think it's completely inappropriate to fucking call
No.
CPS.
That's obvious.
I think it's
I'm
completely
saying your friend
inappropriate to
Hassan you
call
made a video
CPS
with
like.
did
I
a
don't know why
total
you're-
fucking
I don't know
hate
why you
job.
think I have
All right, go
any
ahead.
hand
Ask me a
in this.
question.
I don't have any, like,
Go
dude,
ahead.
listen,
Go ahead.
listen to me. Listen, we're both content creators online. We both have received an endless wave of harassment. You and I have talked privately about
Hassan,
this.
I don't
when
care.
we
Let's
were-
just go
when
on.
we had a
You-
podcast.
I don't-
What do you mean? You
I
brought this
don't-
up. You brought it up. Hold on.
I know
Let
what
me
you're
speak.
saying. We've all
You
been
brought it up.
harassed. The internet
Let
is
me bring-
tough. Whatever,
let me
yada
bring
yada.
up
Ask me a question.
No. Please, Ethan, please.
Because you're so
Please.
boring, bro. I just want to have an interesting conversation.
You know
Go
who else
ahead.
also told me that? Andrew Tate. Please, just hold on.
Wow,
and let
I have-
me
wow,
try
God
to
forbid.
explain my position to you. You and I are both content creators. We get an endless wave of harassment, doxing, swatting, all of this stuff, okay? Sometimes by the same people, ironically enough, by the same communities. You and I know we've had these conversations in private before we stop doing our podcast. And you know my position on this. I think it's completely unacceptable.
I know you're
because
against
I am victim to the
CPS.
same exact thing that happened to you in this regard. I would never in a million years
ask me a
for that sort of
question.
thing and don't think it's appropriate.
Very good.
And I don't know why you think that I have anything to do with this.
Because you're misrepresenting what I asked you. I didn't ask you, do you think it's okay that people called CPS? I asked that the video that you participated in, which was a total fucking hit job that used 90% of its clip from an episode of the podcast called CPS Got Called on Me and didn't even include the title of the podcast. Now, do you think that's fair?
I think you should take this up with iDubbbz instead of me.
Okay, sure. Ask me a question.
Yeah, I didn't make any of the editorial decisions in iDubbbz's Content Cop.
I'm asking what you thought about it, okay? Not if you made it. It's pretty fucking...
Sure,
go ahead, ask me a question.
I'm sure it would have been. I'm sure that it would have been all right if he mentioned it.
It would have been all right.
I don't know why this is a major point of contention for you. I thought we were going to talk about Israel-Palestine.
We're talking about whatever we want to talk about. You had said that I have problems with your character. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead, ask me a question.
But you having problems with my character.
Hassan, ask me a question. I'm going to move on to the next topic.
You asking me about iDubbbz's editorial decisions in his Content Cop.
I'm asking about your opinion on it. Go ahead, ask me a question.
Okay. So, do you believe that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza?
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. So you agree with the with numerous human rights organizations, the UN.
I already said yes.
Okay, great. No, that's important. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I also agree on this. If you believe that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza, okay, do you feel like you have used your limited amount of time that you have as a content creator speaking out against Israel doing a genocide on the Palestinian population living in the Gaza Strip, or do you feel like most of your commentary on that issue has overwhelmingly been to rail against people that are doing that?
Sure.
Pro-Palestinian advocates that you feel like you've been wronged by, myself included.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but if you're pro-Palestine, it doesn't absolve you of criticism. That's something that you guys keep harping on.
Do I think my coverage? I don't think that's the case. I don't think that is the case.
Okay. Do you think my coverage has been like totally balanced? I would say no. I've obviously given less time to the Palestinian perspective, and I think the reason for that is simply that.
No, not just the Palestinian perspective, Ethan. I think that rather than talking about that issue in and of itself, rather than talking about the genocide itself, every time you have
Hassan, I'm answering your question.
Every time you've talked about Israel-Palestine, it almost always revolved around.
I was going to tell you why. Do you want to
personal vendettas that you have experienced from pro-Palestinian content creators.
Okay. Would you like me to? You asked me a question, so I'm going to answer it. The reason for that being is that I feel like I'm responding to a lot of bullshit that's been passed my way ever since leftovers ended, starting from you and your community. Now that's my answer to that. Now let me ask you about this. This sword has a Nazi swastika hilt.
Okay.
Do you disagree? What's funny about that?
I think it's funny because you've made this a major point of contention. That's why I think it's funny.
It's a swastika, is it not?
Yeah, it's a sword that is a bleach sword, as you know already, that has a hilt that has a Japanese manji sign on it. But yes, it does look like a swastika, as I've also noticed and have talked about on numerous occasions that you've brought forward.
Yeah, of course you're conceding that because we fished this up.
When I made fun of, I believe it was Alexa that grabbed it, and I said, "Oh, you immediately go for the swastika one."
So
yeah, exactly. Do you think?
I don't know. So far, this is so stupid.
My point is, Hassan, if I can continue my point, is that you knew it was a swastika sword. So why? What is the? So I mean, why did you guys choose to pose with this sword?
It's a Japanese symbol, bro. What do you
why
mean?
was the choice made for this sword?
I'm gonna gently explain this to you again. One, it's not a swastika, but regardless.
Do you think it looks like a swastika?
I did not make this editorial decision. I wasn't even.
Do you think it's reasonable to perceive that as a swastika?
Ethan,
answer the question. Is it reasonable to perceive that?
I don't think it was a deliberate decision that iDubbbz made, but I don't know. I don't know.
Hassan, they're your swords, and according to the New York Times article, there was 10 options. So what's the chances that they chose the swastika one? That seems pretty slim.
Well,
you have 10 swords, don't you?
The week prior to that, I believe. I don't know the exact time. I don't really remember when they shot this, but I had the sword out because I was doing an Assassin's Creed promo. Do you feel like if I thought it was like genuinely a swastika sword, I would use it in an Assassin's Creed promo shot?
Yes. That's what we call a dog whistle, Hassan. And what you're doing is gaslighting somebody. You made a video. Let me make a point here, Hassan, because you're the king of microaggressions and understanding the perspective of minority groups, right? So you made a video. You participated in a video accusing a Jewish. Let me finish my point, Hassan. No, stop. You are making a video accusing a Jewish man of exaggerating anti-Semitism while exhibiting the most hateful symbol against Jewish people. Do you not see this as a problem, or at least am I insane for thinking this is odd?
Ethan, take a deep breath.
Answer the question. I don't need you to console me.
I didn't even hear your question. I need you to.
Well, you should try listening instead of speaking.
I'm just looking for clarification here. Do you think that I deliberately was using a dog whistle in an Assassin's Creed promo?
He had to spend no time. No, yes.
Was laying around because it's the only.
He just said, I don't know why you still asked the question. He just said yes.
I know they're heavy.
He just said yes.
Yes, I'm aware that it's not a real sword, but you had 10 to choose from. What does it matter how much they weigh?
Yeah, the other ones are heavy.
Let me paint a scenario. Hassan, let me paint a scenario for you, okay? Listen, okay? This is important. You participated in a video accusing a Jewish man of exaggerating anti-Semitism. You exhibited in that video the most hateful symbol against Jewish people. 1 out of 10 of your swords that you have previously already stated you know is the, quote, swastika sword. So am I insane for even... You're treating me like I'm insane for bringing this up, but it sounds pretty reasonable.
I mean, it's a little insane.
So yeah, microaggressions just don't exist for Jewish people.
You're asking me why iDubbbz.
It's your
made
sword,
this
bro. I don't
decision,
believe that you
and
weren't
I'm
there.
not iDubbbz.
You were
and
there,
I
bro. It's in
don't
your
know
fucking
how
house.
to I don't know why you're asking me.
Because
why
it's
I
your
did
house
that.
and your sword.
But I also gave you what my speculation is, and that is that
It was just
it's
a
most
cosmic
likely because
chance.
I
Okay.
previously had it laying around because I had just done an Assassin's Creed promo.
Okay, if you say so. So if it's a cosmic fluke, which you claim, then why leave the photo up?
I'm not even in the photo. I don't.
I
think,
know
right?
it's in your
Am I
room
even
though, and with your sword. Why leave the photo up if it's a cosmic fluke?
Wait, why are you asking me this question? I don't know. I'm not. Ethan.
I'm sorry, Hassan. Are you unable to make value judgments on situations? Like, isn't that what you do for a living? Do you think that iDubbbz should have removed?
I don't think it's relevant or that big of a deal at all. If that's what you're trying to get out of me, like, yeah, I think it's not.
Okay, so you're telling a Jewish man who's complaining about a very odd coincidence that I'm crazy and I'm exaggerating.
Put emoji on it, Ethan. Can we? Okay, you got me. All right. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, you got me. I put a swastika in the video calling you out for exaggerating anti-Semitism. You got me. Yes, you did. You literally did.
I didn't do that.
Okay, laugh about it. Go on.
It's not a swastika. And
why should you leave it out?
You have that much of an issue with swastikas, considering you drew one on PewDiePie.
I'm a Jewish man. You fucking moron.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Is anyone in that room Jewish?
Is
anyone in that room? Did I draw swastika one time on?
Do you think that Jews have an exclusivity agreement with like being offended or not offended by not the imagery? You've done a Sig Heil approximately what 50 times.
I'll go with Hassan on this
one.
I don't know why he said.
Because you only watch clips on Twitter. I was making fun of
I don't know
you
why
on
Ethan argued about being Jewish.
And by the way, as a Jewish man, are you going to tell black people not to use the N-word?
Wait, what?
Are you going to tell black people not to use the N-word because it offends you?
Do you think this is an apt comparison?
Yes.
Okay. So you think
sounds
that
about right.
Being able to draw this, your anti-Semitism radar is completely out of whack.
And who are you to say that to me? You pose with a swastika.
You're saying it's not a
I mean,
swastika.
technically, other people can have offense with you using the N-word.
No, it's not.
And they don't have
Let
to.
me see the sword in your background. Why didn't you choose one of those ones?
Still the same thing, honestly.
I didn't choose the sword.
I don't believe you.
Do you think this is a productive use of our time?
Absolutely. So anyway, you say it's a weird cosmic fluke. Personally, if I think it was a weird cosmic fluke, you say basically it's not a swastika. The difference between the Hindu symbol and
but it's not.
Okay, right. The difference between the Hindu symbol
What
and the
you
Nazi
draw on PewDiePie, on the other
swastika.
hand, was a swastika.
I'll finish what I said. Yeah, I'm a Jewish man. I did a swastika,
cool.
a tasteless joke on iDubbbz shirt 10 years ago. You
Yeah.
said this is the swastika sword, and you keep it in your house and you use it and pose it in photos, attacking a Jewish man. The fact that you can't even concede that
jokingly
looks
referred
bad.
to it as looking like a swastika when my friend picked it up.
So
if I genuinely thought it was a swastika memorabilia, do you think I would keep it in my house?
Dude, you're being so obtuse. I know it's not a swastika, right? And I know you know it's not a swastika, but it is literally a swastika also. Because the difference between a swastika and that Hindu symbol is this. You see what I'm doing? This is the difference. If you ask a Hindu person, would they walk around with a swastika sign?
Wait, so you know
fuck no, they know that looks like a swastika.
swastika sword. So I'm a little confused.
Ask your Hindu friends if they would walk around with like a swastika brandished. They know.
Okay.
Are you Hindu?
I am not Hindu.
Okay, interesting.
No.
So anyway, it was a cosmic fluke.
Do you think
brandished
that only, do you think that only Hindu people have bleed swords? Like, what's going on?
We're discussing the symbol, not the sword. Okay, go ahead.
He has spent a lot of time on
this. It was
this.
a cosmic fluke. There was 10
sword.
swords. He magically picked that one.
He did get his point across. Hassan is looking really bad.
He left it up. If it was a mistake, he could have deleted it.
I'm not him.
Go ahead.
I don't know. Again, I'm going to repeat myself here. I think I'm doing.
You don't need to. Go ahead.
I am not.
Ask me the next question.
I don't know what was going on.
I'm not
in his
accusing you
mind.
of being iDubbbz, Hassan, but you're acting like you're incapable of making value judgments on things because you're not
No, because
iDubbbz.
I already made the value judgment. I think you're being crazy.
Okay, well, Mr. Microaggressions thinks I'm being crazy. Very good. You have no problem telling Jewish people they're being crazy on what?
Yes.
It's like a blatant fuck. Go ahead. Ask me the next question.
Yes, I don't.
Do you think
I don't have a
if you
problem
could go
telling
back,
you're being crazy right now. You being Jewish has nothing to do with this.
Sure, I'm sure it doesn't. Do you think going back that it was a mistake to use that sword?
I don't really care about this at all.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that really shows where you're at on this. Go ahead, ask me a question.
Okay. So, since you believe that Israel is committing a genocide, what are the appropriate steps that people can take, both in the Western world and also regional actors can take against this entity doing a genocide by your own admission, that you would consider to be appropriate? Because it feels like throughout this entire process, you have set boundaries on what you think
just
is
killing
inappropriate.
Civilians. That's the boundary.
As you have set boundaries on what you think is inappropriate.
Killing civilians.
Time and time again has said is outright anti-Semitic.
My boundary is killing civilians.
Okay, that's great. So
is that unreasonable?
That's a perfectly reasonable boundary to set.
Okay, good. So
I
then
totally
we don't
agree
disagree
with you on that. Great.
Great.
Okay.
So let me ask you the next one. Let me ask you about this top tier
Hold on.
list.
I have a. Let me finish.
Well, you asked and I answered. Go ahead. You could go on a little bit more.
Okay, so hold on. Everyone's complaining about my volume on my side because we're using Zoom instead of Discord. So my fucking
go ahead.
Audio.
It's fine. Take your time to get the
my audio keeps going up and down. Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, Ethan so far is like kind
One
of
of the first conversations that we had, you and I
kind of
had
dog walking the man right now.
Let the podcast ending was that you considered "From the River to the Sea, Palestine will be free" to be an anti-Semitic slogan. You said that Jews feel like this is an exterminationist slogan, and Jews fear this slogan in the United States of America.
Correct.
If you think that Israel's doing a genocide, do you feel like it is appropriate for Westerners in the United States of America and Palestinians and people of Palestinian descent to be able to use emancipatory slogans, or should they go to jail under the Trump administration?
Okay, I mean, these are pretty extreme questions. Now, I'm not making a value judgment. I'm just trying.
All I was trying to do. Question is what's happening right now.
Do you want me to answer?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to explain the Jewish perspective. I'm not trying to make a value judgment of it. But what I will tell you is that, how do you feel about Norm Finkelstein?
Love Norm. I know he has said that.
Here's what he had to say about this.
I know what he
said.
said.
No. I want the audience to see this, Hassan.
Hold on.
Hassan, I want the audience to see this video.
This is not going to be a moment for you because I know Norm's position.
Good. I'm glad you know. Let's let the audience know, Hassan.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Hassan, let the audience watch the video.
I can have a nuanced and reasonable disagreement with a person that I actually admire.
So that's what we're having.
Like Norm. But
so it's nuanced and understandable with Norm. Let the audience watch the video, Hassan.
Okay. Go ahead.
Palestine will be free.
Let me go back. Yeah. Here's the Norm Finkelstein, a prominent figurehead in the Palestinian liberation movement.
I don't like the slogan.
I know. I have more positions, but I agree with him on
the
this as well.
Be free. I think it's a bad slogan. I know the slogan from the 1960s, the 1970s.
He is crushing this man right now. Jesus Christ.
Now because it has too much ambiguity. When you say from the river
Someone's gonna hit me with the cherry act.
To the sea, Palestine will be free. Obviously, a question arises. Okay, what happens to the Jews in that scenario? And some people will say, well, all it's about is everybody being free, but that's not what the slogan says. So I have, in recent weeks, I have voiced my concern that it's a bad slogan. And I said, just change it, tweak it. From the river to the sea, one person, one vote, Palestinians will be free. And you can't answer that slogan because all you're talking about is equal rights for everyone. From the river to the sea, one person, one vote, Palestinians will be free. I don't
Is
know
that
if
really the
actually
background behind it?
I think
That
what he's
sounds a
saying
little
is
bit
good
better
in
than I would have thought.
From the river to the sea, Palestinians will be free, which I think is good. You're
Norm
laughing at Norm.
routinely talked at campus encampments, college campus Palestinian encampments as to, I'm not going to make much hay about the slogan in general. There's plenty of other slogans.
Well, you're willing to listen to him, but when I say it, it becomes a big controversy. I'm not even my opinion.
Disagreement with him on that, and you're forgetting one key factor.
What's that?
Okay, you're forgetting one key factor. Norm Finkelstein still ultimately will always say, while I disagree with the slogan because I think it scares people, it ultimately does not matter, and I'm not going to stand in opposition to it. He doesn't say it's anti-Semitic.
When have I opposed
He doesn't say it is extermination.
When have I opposed
he says
it?
That's what people think.
When have I opposed it?
If you think that Norm Finkelstein would be in agreement with you in any way, shape, or form on any issue, please have a conversation with him.
He's literally in agreement with me, like verbatim.
Okay. No,
actually, even more.
You said it was anti-Semitic. Norm doesn't think it's anti-Semitic.
Hassan, do you remember me advocating against it? Do you remember me advocating against it?
If he agrees with you on anything.
Sure, I'll ask Norm Finkelstein. Do you remember me denouncing that statement and saying people shouldn't say it?
I believe in our conversation.
No, it didn't happen. You're lying.
You said it was anti-Semitic.
I said it's perceived that way by Jewish people. All right, let's move on. The Sabra tier list.
Norm does not believe it's an anti-Semitic
Very
slogan.
good. I'll ask him about it. Now, let me ask you about
Are you actually going to do that? Because that would be wonderful.
Yes, I'm going to talk to Norm.
Productive.
We'll have a great conversation about from the river to the sea.
Is it? Wait, can I ask you a question?
No. It's my turn.
Okay,
You spoke, and now it's my turn.
You know what? You go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very gracious of you.
Well, I mean, it's just a back and forth conversation, but you seemingly have a lot of grievances not pertaining to the actual issue at hand.
I don't know. My friend, the issue at hand is your behavior.
No, I think the issue at hand is the genocide.
Well, we seem to be coming at this from two different angles, which is great, right? So let me ask you this. Hold on, you said it's my turn to ask, so let me do that. Is it my turn to ask a question or what?
That there's a genocide. You already recognize that Israel is committing a genocide.
I can care about two things, Hassan. It's very important to acknowledge that.
Don't you think?
I can care about two things, my friend.
Incredibly narrow framework
very
surrounding
easy.
your own personal feelings.
I'm not that smart, but I can care about two things.
Okay, no,
even if one is more urgent than the other.
You think your own personal feelings, born out of your misunderstandings, is more important?
Did I say that? I said one is more urgent than the other, referring to the genocide.
Oh, okay. So you recognize that the genocide is a more urgent issue.
Please let me ask a question.
Almost all of your commentary surrounding this issue on talking about your own personal feelings and how you've been wronged by people.
Very good. Let me ask you. So you claimed
wait, can you answer that question?
No, Hassan, you asked your question. It's my turn. I talked about how gracious you were, man. What happened?
Wait, but
I said you're so gracious. You're gonna let me ask you a question. What happened?
Does that make
sense? Don't make me take it back. All right, let me ask you a question. Hold on to that. Ask me after this. You defended Frogan's use of the Sabra tier list. What was your opinion on that?
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
I think that the Sabra hummus tier list is absolutely insane to consider anti-Semitic, and most people have already laughed about it, despite the fact that it was very damaging in terms of deplatforming a bunch of content creators that participated in this, egged on by yourself, by the way.
Yes. With pleasure.
And yeah, it's not.
It's insane.
Even remotely.
Okay.
It's not even remotely anti-Semitic.
Very
it's
good.
Like
Let me ask you a
the
question.
cracker band that Twitch capitulated on.
So let me follow up with this. Have you seen the thumbnail?
The thumbnail?
Yes, that's what I said. This is the thumbnail that's still up. Now, let me ask you this, Hassan. Here's Frogan's thumbnail for the Sabra hummus tier list. In the F tier is me and Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is not in the tier list. He has never explored or used. Why do you think Ben Shapiro is on the F tier?
Ethan?
Whoa, answer the question.
Again.
What, you're dodging?
I'm not iDubbbz.
Oh, but you can't make value judgments suddenly on your friends who you've spent all this time defending.
No, because I don't care.
Well, I do.
I don't.
I think it's great you don't care. Why is Ben Shapiro there?
I don't know. I don't care. Probably because he's also a massive fucking. What?
Because it's the most most prominent Jewish creators on YouTube.
Do you think Ben Shapiro's Judaism is the reason as to why?
100% without a doubt, yes.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Hold
go ahead,
on.
take your time. I know it's a lot to process.
Okay. Yeah, this is a lot to process.
Yeah, I know, man. It's tough. You really don't know what to say because it looks pretty bad.
No, because it's so fucking stupid.
Well, tell me then.
You look kind of dumb
So why is
right
Ben
now.
there?
You look kind of insane.
Okay, very good.
That's
Why is
why
Ben
I'm having
there?
a hard time. Like, I don't know why fucking Frogan made this thumbnail. And
Why
I
is
don't
Ben
care.
there?
I don't have any issue with this thumbnail.
Why is Ben there?
Because he's a prominent defender of Israel.
You're quick to say that Jews aren't the only Zionists, right? So why is Ben Shapiro, of all the people in the world who are conservatives, who are Zionists, Christian Zionists, why Ben Shapiro? Me and Ben Shapiro and F tier, the two most prominent Jewish creators on YouTube. That's a coincidence, just like the swastika, huh?
Ethan,
these are two cosmic coincidences. It's not really stacking up.
The tier list that you're talking about, first of all, the tier list that we're talking about was literally designed by a Jewish content creator who you advocated to ban, and he got banned.
Very good, and I'm glad he did. He definitely deserved it.
Jew. You called him a token Jew.
And I still stand by that. The man is just fucking.
So you get to draw swastikas on PewDiePie, but Rafi can't say that there is a tier list here where Sabra
This is Rogan's tier list. This is her.
the lowest. The Sabra hummus, liking Sabra hummus is the lowest tier.
Ben Shapiro.
And the highest tier is being able to get a Habibi pass. You, as a Jew, get to determine what other Jews are able to do. You're the Pope of the Jews.
I'm not determining what they can do, but this is Rogan's bit. This is her stage. This is her bit. I mean, you can say that the Jewish dude is the fall guy and did everything, but that's not true.
So you get to draw swastikas, but Rafi can't even say Sabra hummus is dog shit.
He can say whatever he wants. I'm not criticizing. By the way, you think that my criticism is that he doesn't like Sabra hummus? Are you being serious right now? By the way, is that a beef? Hold on, what are you drinking?
It's a Dr. Pepper cream
Isn't that
soda.
who owns that?
I don't know, but it's not on the BDS.
Are you sure?
BDS list.
We'll double check.
Yes, I'm 100% sure.
Okay, we'll double check that. It's not about Sabra hummus, and like let's not be obtuse.
Actually, the BDS one is actually pretty funny too, because like you've been, you consistently talk about how like I drink Diet Coke or whatever. When that fan came up to me and said stop drinking Diet Coke, it was not on the Palestinian National Committee's official BDS list.
Yes, it was.
And ever since it has been on the official BDS list,
You're lying.
I have not drank Diet Coke or purchased any Diet Cokes at all.
You're lying. It was on the list.
Wait, what is?
Yeah, it was on the list. You're lying.
What was on the list?
Coke.
Yes, it was put on the list,
sugar.
and I stopped purchasing Coke. And I stopped drinking Diet Coke.
You said, you know what's funny? You told her.
I think it's like
you remember what you told her, son?
significant.
You remember what you told her? You said, "I'll just put it in a cup."
Yeah, no, I was joking with her because I thought that it was a ridiculous request at the time because it wasn't on the Palestinian National Committee's official boycott, divestment, and sanctions list, Ethan.
Okay. It's not about Sabra hummus, just so you know. Like, let's not be silly.
Wait, what is it about?
It's about what's Sabra means a Jew born in Israel. It's an Israeli company. Everybody knows it's like considered like Israeli hummus. It's been on the BDS list. Everybody knows the connotations of Sabra hummus, right? Nobody. Yeah, I don't like Sabra hummus either. We're not talking about hummus. What I don't like is anti-Semitism perpetuated by your friends and swept by you. Now, why is Ben Shapiro in the F tier? That's a cosmic coincidence. Okay, let's move on. Very good.
Ethan,
go ahead. Next question.
I'm not.
I know
and I don't know.
I know.
Why.
How can I make value judgments on my friends I've been defending for 2 years?
Also,
who can say?
there is a tier list in front of me, and it seems like a bunch of people, both
Ben
Jewish
Shapiro and me are in the F tier.
on the Loves Sabra tier list.
You're looking at the end. I'm looking at the thumbnail, bro. I'm talking about the thumbnail.
I know, but I first of all, again, I'm making inferences about editorial decisions that other people have made. I'm just simply speculating at this point.
Sure.
But you know, it's a.
Are you not embarrassed by this
joke.
armpit hair? It's so cringy, bro. It's like so weird. I'm glad you changed that finally. On a separate note.
What?
I find it just so weird and bizarre that this was your thumbnail for so long. Also, ironically, wearing a Rolex hat, which is like probably the symbol of capitalist excess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a
Cool,
free Rolex
dude.
hat from a friend of mine. I still wear it every now
and
and
you're
then.
oh wow, who knew? So anyway, Ben Shapiro was
I'm so-
accidentally in the F
What
tier.
does this have to do with anything? What's going on, man?
Yeah, I know
What's
it's
happening?
confusing. It's very confusing for you. It's like a car crash, I'm
There's
sure.
So why do you think there's a
so this
Jewish
is a
man in
cosmic
the A
mistake.
tier
Let's move on.
on the tier list? If you think that it's like all about anti-Semitism and
Do you think that this is at least a bad coincidence?
No, I don't.
Well,
I
that's
really don't.
fantastic.
No, I don't think it's a bad coincidence at all. I think you're trying to find with a fine-tooth comb like any
Of course.
incidents.
The
that
Jewish
even
man
come
is
across as
crazy.
remotely
He sees
anti-Semitic,
anti-Semitism
and you're having a
everywhere.
really hard time.
These
Well, if
are
you
just
want my answer,
cosmic
you want my perspective, I'm
mistakes.
telling you. If you want my perspective, I'm giving it to you. I think genuinely, at a time when there is unprecedented levels
Yes,
of
I know. We can't talk about anything else. That's very convenient for you.
At a time when there's unprecedented levels of out and about anti-Semitism, with incredibly prominent, oftentimes right-wing conservative figureheads actively talking about Jews, in deeply anti-Semitic fashion, you have lasered in on people that you can't even actually catch, quote unquote, dead to rights because they're not anti-Semitic.
Well, they're not
And
wearing a
you
shirt
want
that says
to
"I
make
hate
them-
Jews," but
it
they're walking
seems
around
to me- it seems
swastikas
to me
and
like
doing
you-
tier lists with Jews on the bottom. I mean, that's as
it
close as you
seems
can
to
pretty
me
much fucking
like
get without them
you-
just saying "I hate Jewish people."
It seems to me like
And I
you
think you're
want
acting really
them
silly and
to be
obtuse right now. The
anti-Semitic.
guy who's all about microaggressions and understanding the perspective of minorities and stuff, telling a Jewish man that he's hallucinating anti-Semitism and won't even
I'm doing
concede
that.
that this looks bad. Okay,
No,
fantastic.
you're hallucinating anti-Semitism in this circumstance.
Very good.
I'm not saying anti-Semitism is not a prominent fixture of American politics.
Very good.
I actually do think that anti-Semitism has exploded
brave
in
of you to say.
popularity
Very
in
brave.
American politics, especially So that's not my point at all. I'm saying you individually right now wish that these people were anti-Semitic. So you're trying to find anything you can hold on to.
It's really not a
but once
stretch,
again, none of those people are me. So I don't know why.
Stop with the
we
value
devolved
judgment thing. Like you can't make a
conversation
decision. It
away
sounds
from-
stupid as hell, dude.
Wait,
Let me
I sound stupid as hell? What?
Well, when you go, I can't draw. I'm not them. I mean, it's.
I mean, I don't know why you're asking me what their genuine decision making.
Why would I want my
is,
best
and I
friend
don't know.
Ida
I
to be
can't tell you
anti-Semitic?
what
Why would I
was.
want
But
my
I don't
best
think
friend
it's an
Ida to
issue.
be anti-Semitic? Why would I want that? You think I enjoy my friends and people around me
Can I
being
be honest?
anti-Semitic?
Do you want me to tell you why?
I would
I
love.
don't think
to
you're gonna
hear.
like the answer.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. Go ahead.
Okay. You want everyone that has criticized you to be anti-Semitic so that it makes you feel better about your position. It's not your own personal positions that you have explained to people that come across like you're using anti-Semitism as a shield to deflect criticisms against Israel.
This is
and that if they
what
are
an
actually
analysis.
out and about anti-Semites, that'll make you feel a little bit more comfortable, like
Yes.
you won the argument in your
I
mind.
feel like I
and that your
wish
community
Ethan would
finally
also address
go,
that.
oh yeah, you're right. You're a permanent victim in this situation.
Like he
But
could be
because
one
there's
of
an
the people that
unimaginable
put
amount
that
of
stuff to rest
anti-Semitism
about
everywhere
the
online,
criticism
it
to
comes
Israel
across as shocking that you
never
laser
being
in
because
on what you
there
perceive
there
dog
is some weight
whistles when they're very
behind
clearly
it,
not
but,
even dog whistles
you
at
know.
all. And I'll give you an example of this. Something that you did that I found very funny was
Perception-wise, that's what it always seems like.
You Instagram posted
Criticism of
about
Israel
my Theo Von
always seems to be like
podcast
such a
appearance.
problem.
Sure did.
My Theo Von podcast appearance where you were like, oh, I can't believe Theo Von didn't actually ask him about his like dangerous anti-Semitism or any number of different things in the conversation, including I think you talked about Rick Scott. Now, we did actually talk. Theo Von and I did actually talk
Let's
about
pull
Rick
that
Scott.
clip up,
I'm sure you didn't see that. But hold on, let me finish. But what I found very strange about that was the fact that Theo Von, and I didn't even know this at the time, the day prior to me, had actually interviewed Candace Owens. I think you and I both agree that Candace Owens is an anti-Semite, right?
I think that he was on that 1-2 punch.
Okay.
What? Bow, bam.
Do you think
Hit him with that anti-Semitism, boy.
No, Ethan. As
think
your
he was
former
on a
podcast
vibe.
co-host, do you think that I am anti-Semitic? One, and if you think I am, do you think I'm as anti-Semitic as Candace Owens?
So yes, I think you're anti-Semitic at this point. I'm comfortable saying that. Are you
At
as
this
anti?
point.
Well, let me finish.
Okay,
let
then
me
let's
finish.
move
You
on
asked
from
me two
Krogan,
questions.
and let's address
No.
what you think
asked
I'm
me.
doing that's
Two
anti-Semitic.
questions.
You
Let
asked
me
me two
answer.
questions together. I'm going to answer both. You said, do you think I'm anti-Semitic? After talking to you so far today, I can say unreservedly yes. Do I think that you are more anti-Semitic than Candace Owens? No. But I think your form of anti-Semitism is way more destructive and sinister.
Yeah.
Candace
Yeah.
Owens is
So you
outright.
think-
Hold on
yeah.
there, Hassan. This is
It's
an important
always
question.
that
You think I'm
subliminal,
I'm gonna
like,
answer. I'm gonna answer.
negativity. That's
Okay.
just always just so damn.
Your
like,
form of
just
anti-Semitism is
annoying.
way more insidious because it's silent, it's tricky. She's out there just saying what she believes, and I respect her for that. Nick Fuentes is just
Yeah,
out there. Nobody knows
exactly.
what's his stance on Israel. Candace Owens' stance on Israel. But you're tricky. What you do is deny the heritage of Middle Eastern Jews, stuff like that. You accuse them of being always the oppressor,
What?
always. Everything.
can you
And by the way,
point
you spent the first part of this debate calling me insane for what I think most people would perceive as blatant, obvious anti-Semitic
Ethan,
acts.
I don't think most people would look at what you're doing right now and
Well, let's
think
not worry
this
about
is a
that. Let's
sign of mental sanity.
Well, we'll have time to poll the audience afterwards. So let's continue.
Okay. All right. Well, look, going back to the Theo Von situation, and you said, so you said I'm anti-Semitic, right? Yesterday you said, or 2 days ago, in the aftermath of the Sam Cedar conversation, you said I'm not anti-Semitic. So what has changed in that process? Is it this conversation
Yes.
that you and I had?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right.
Here's the clip, by the way. You accused me of
Burn
not.
there, won't it?
You accused me of not mentioning that Theo Von did not ask you about Rick Scott. Let's go back and watch the clip.
Because, No, I like, said of what I you didn't just say.
Bro,
the
you
clip. I
literally
said
look
in
like
your
the dude from
Instagram
Beetlejuice. That's
story.
crazy. The
On your
small head guy.
Ethan, I use my words very carefully. I said in the Instagram story that you
Small
posted. I don't
head
watch
guy,
your
Beetlejuice.
stream that much. I only
In that
see
waiting room,
bits and pieces of
bro,
it.
that's crazy. Do you see the resemblance?
What?
You're this guy from Beetlejuice. In this photo, you have like the same coat and shit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
Beetlejuice is crazy.
you are a comedian.
I sure am, buddy. I see you laughing. All right. Anyway, so you accused me of misrepresenting what happened. Let's play the clip.
Right, $800 billion of Medicare and Medicaid that they want to cut. Mike Johnson goes on stage, says, goes on Caitlin Collins on CNN and says, oh, there's a lot of fraud happening. There's not fraud happening in Medicare and Medicaid on the point of the recipient.
Right.
It's happening on the point of the providers.
Right.
And that's why I got banned recently on Twitch yesterday because
I
Liz-
saw you got banned.
yeah,
So you just got back.
Yeah, Libs of TikTok was like posting about how I said something.
Wait, what is this?
And they misconstrued it as though it was a call to action to assassinate a sitting
why are you
US
showing me
senator.
this?
Well, you're
'Cause I-
saying I didn't bring this up, or I'm saying that Theo didn't bring this up. He didn't. You brought it up, framed it in your own way to basically
No,
preempt a tough question.
Ethan.
Yep.
Ethan, I said on the Instagram story that you posted about me, Dan, can you switch it back to Ethan?
Don't switch it back, Dan. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I'm switching it back. 1 second.
All right, thanks, Dan.
I know, man.
This looks ridiculous on
It
my
sure does,
end. I'm
buddy.
sorry. Okay. So yeah, this was. And
it's not just on the video.
The post as well, but the post I was referring to was make sure Theo knows how you feel about hosting a terrorist-adjacent content creator, and I believe there was another post about it or something. But again,
I said he was irresponsible to platform you and not ask you difficult questions.
yeah. So the question I have for you once again is like he had Candace Owens on. Like, do you feel like that's a little bit more damaging in terms of spreading potentially anti-Semitic narratives? Or do you think that anti-Semitism is when you feel bad personally, and that could be any number of different things that I've done in any given moment?
So I just want to point out, right, that I never looked too much into like the Jewish Palestinian stuff like that just because it's, really at the end of the day, it's just really not that important to me. To me specifically, it's not that. I don't care too much about it, right? So now this is an opportunity for me as a third person to just see what, you know, who has no other objective or, you know, understanding what's going on, to just look and see like what's being said. Is it so far? Like, I understand a swastika. Excuse me, I understand a swastika and, you know, all the other like underlying stuff, and it's just like, yeah. I mean, so far Ethan is dog walking him, because it sure is making Hassan look pretty crazy. I will say that for sure. Hassan is looking really crazy right now.
Yes, I think you were just as bad as her in your own special way, and that's why.
You
and you guys were hitting that same flavor.
Owens
Yes.
on anti-Semitism
Yes.
in my own special way.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Very
All right,
good.
Cool.
Very good. So let me ask you a question. Hassan, can I ask you a question?
Can you now officially not talk about like Frogan or anyone else and tell me why I'm anti-Semitic?
Well, we're kind of getting
2
there.
days ago you said I wasn't, but
I
also
already-
for a year.
You're repeating yourself.
Well, I am, because you haven't answered this question.
I have literally
2 days
answered
ago
it
you said I
probably
wasn't
2 times. The reason that I'm saying you're anti-Semitic is because how you responded to my question at the beginning of this interview.
Ethan, for an entire year, you called me a virulent anti-Semite,
No,
a rabid anti-Semite.
never did.
You did.
You
did.
did
You
not.
went back and
I
forth
have
on it.
actually
Even
went back
Ben
and
checked
checked.
you on it.
I had said
You
that
did.
you spread anti-Semitism and stuff, but I never called you an anti-Semitic. I went back and checked.
So
You're
you're
lying.
simply spreading
Yeah,
anti-Semitism.
I mean, it's a difference.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Is
Yeah,
about
I mean,
Habib
you
not
be
sovereign
a
conceding
useful
to anything yet.
idiot.
We're not conceding to
Yeah,
anything. I don't
doesn't
even
mean
know
that
what
you
it is.
believe.
Stop it. Okay.
Okay, let me ask you my
negative
turn.
stuff. You
Do you
just
think
be
it's appropriate to accuse?
retarded.
Do you think it's
Yeah.
appropriate to accuse any Jewish person you disagree with of working with the ADL?
No.
Here,
I
for example, is someone using it to anti-Semitic.
Are you saying that Ethan Klein and ADL in unison?
Hassan, let me finish. You're getting ahead of yourself, buddy.
Yes, I do. I do think that that's
You're
a
getting ahead of
valid
yourself,
thing
man.
that's a valid thing to not only speculate, but also I
Hold the
stand on that for
phone.
sure.
Hassan, I'm getting there. You're getting ahead of yourself, buddy. Here's an example of it being used in an anti-Semitic way. I'm sure you'll agree. Timeline on that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I heard you.
Who is this? What is this?
This is your fan who ran up on me on Rodeo.
Who the fuck is this guy? My fan?
Yeah. You remember?
Wait, is this the? Is this the guy?
Yeah, you remember.
Wait. No, this is the guy that you claimed was my fan, right? He was calling me the fucking.
I mean, there's a clip of being like, "Yo, I love this dude." Anyway, who cares if he's your fan or not?
No.
Point is,
Hold on.
No.
You brought this
It
dude
doesn't
up.
matter. I'm showing him as an
You
example
brought
of you.
this dude up. It does matter. It
Okay,
does
fine.
matter.
He's
You
not a
brought him
fan.
up.
I don't care.
You brought him up.
Yeah,
What do you mean you don't care?
I said
If
he
I brought
portrayed
him
him
up-
as a
if
fan.
I
So
brought him
that's
up, let
like,
me finish
That's
my
why he's not
point.
a fan of mine.
Save
Why
it.
did you
No,
make
listen.
it seem like that
That's
person
not-
was a fan of
yeah.
mine then?
Let me
yeah,
get
like
to there.
if
Okay,
he wasn't
asked
gonna
me-
like
just
hold
because
in
I
that
ask a
position,
question,
I don't know
just
why
because
you
I
brought
brought
that
him
up.
up doesn't
That's
give you the space to interject.
Is it because he rolled up to me
Let
and
me
tried to
finish.
fucking clout farm? Is that why?
Yes.
At
Okay,
the
thank you very
encampment where I
much.
was very clearly disturbed by his presence.
Hassan,
Is
I
that
think
why?
you know where I'm going, and I think you're scared. Yeah,
Ethan,
let me.
can you answer the question?
let me-
Why did you falsely claim that this fucking
Because it's a
random dude
video
who
saying
does
he
not
loves
like
you, that you're
me
his favorite
is a
person in the
fan
world.
of
What do you
mine? Didn't you use? Wait,
All right, Hassan,
didn't
here you go,
use
buddy.
him approaching
Here we
you?
go. You wanted it. I've got it.
Approaching you.
I'm so
I
sorry.
love you.
Oh, unless it was a
I
setup.
love you.
You're like my hero.
You're the goat.
You're the coolest guy in the world, bro.
Wow, how crazy. I'm fucking. Is this another
It's a
hysterical
setup.
delusion?
Yes,
It's
it
a
is,
setup.
and I'm gonna explain to you exactly why. Because
Wow,
we spent
dude,
a
I
good
love
deal
you.
of
You're the
the
goat,
encampment.
bro.
Unless he's gonna argue that
We
it's
spent
just
a
some
good deal of
random
the
person. He
encampment.
doesn't know
Unedited full live
everybody else
stream.
there.
We spent a good deal of the
I've seen it.
entirety of the encampment running away from him because
Well,
he kept trying to ask me dumbass fucking questions.
Okay, but that's
for
got
his
nothing to do
own
with he's a fan.
dumbass,
Listen,
for his own
Hassan,
dumbass
please.
podcast.
You're derailing this, and I need to.
I'm not derailing it.
You
It's not called
absolutely
derailing.
are.
When I'm telling you I was there and I'm telling you
Okay,
the situation.
very good.
You are nefariously making it seem as though this person is a massive
Do I
fan
need
of
to
mine
play the
who
clip
is just
again?
trying to cloud chase.
I'll play it again. Fuck.
You can play that clip again.
Oh my God.
Bro, I had
I love you.
subtitles.
Can I give you a hug?
Can you
I'm
play
so
the
sweaty, bro.
clip where he openly admits he doesn't know who I am and asks
You're like
people
my
around him?
hero,
Because that
bro.
also
You're my hero, bro. I love
You're
you.
the coolest guy in the
You're the
world.
coolest guy in the world.
Hold on, I think I look gay now.
I think I look gay in that one.
3, 2,
You know,
Ethan,
like,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
with respect to
Ethan.
Hassan, this is a stupid argument. This is a
You okay?
very
if
stupid
you
argument.
think he was a fan of mine, why'd you call him a Sneeko fan when you interviewed
for
him?
Ethan.
Because he's both. I
For
mean,
Ethan.
surely there's crossover.
There's a crossover.
Do I need to play the video again?
Okay,
I'll
well,
do it again. Fuck it.
my
Yeah.
producer
I'll
and my
play it again.
camera op, March. My producer and my camera op, March,
Can I give you a hug, bro? I'm so
was
sweaty, bro. I love
there,
you, bro. I'm so sweaty.
and he's in the chat right now.
You're like my hero, bro. I love you, bro. You're the coolest guy in the
Ethan.
world, bro. Hold on, I think I look gay.
Listen, he might not be a fan, but you can't accuse me of being delusional for saying that.
You are
That's-
delusional.
Okay, very good.
You
I'm
are.
delusional. Let me get to my point, please.
I mean,
So I'm not even asking you to endorse this guy. I'm just simply showing you.
I don't endorse
I
him.
know you
He's
don't.
not a fan of mine. So why did you claim that he was a fan of mine? Because he
I'll
fucking
play it
clout
again.
chased.
I mean, I feel like we're running
He
in
was
circles.
clout
I'll play
chasing
the
a
clip
fucking
again.
Palestinian encampment. That's why. That's all it takes for you.
No, it was when he said, "You're the goat. You're my hero. I love you."
He didn't know who I was. He was just saying that so he could fucking ask for
He
an interview
literally
for his
recognized
podcast,
you.
for his POA podcast.
Okay, who cares? I don't care. So let me
Well,
move
now
on.
you don't
Do you
care.
want to talk about this
It
for 2
seems like-
hours, or do you want to actually have a
it seems like
conversation?
a wait. Well, hold on. You can't just say you don't care all of a sudden when you look like a fucking asshole for falsely claiming that some random person who stalked you is a fan of mine. You said he was a fan of mine in. I believe in
I lied.
I would never make this argument. It's kind of stupid.
Don't you think that's a big point of contention? Don't you feel like it's a big point of contention?
I concede. I want to show you an example
Do
of.
you see my side of this though?
I think
like
no.
a
You're being
random
dishonest.
a random Sneeko fan comes up to me,
Random
wants the
fan
clout
comes
chase,
up to you.
and you wants the clout chase, and you turn around and you say that he is a fan of mine to prove a point, to make a false point to imply that I'm sending people to harass you.
That's
Do you
not what I
feel like
implied.
that's appropriate?
That's a total lie. I have never accused you of anything of the sort. That is an
So
outright horrific.
You did not imply that this person
bad
that was a
faith
fan
lie.
of mine
Yes,
was
I did.
actually harassing you.
Yes. Now, that's a big logical leap, Hassan, from he's a fan of yours to you're sending people to harass me. That's fucking insane. And by the way, I mean, you are a liar. You know that, right?
Did he not harass you?
Bro, what are you talking about? Did
he
you
not
send
harass
him?
you?
Did you send him to harass me? No.
Did he harass you? And then
yes.
you imply in your
Okay, who
video
cares,
that he was a fan of mine,
Go ahead. When you're
leading
done,
the audience to believe.
I'll wait.
Leading the audience to believe. Here, we have a clip, by the way, Dan. If you want to play this supposed fan of mine, since you guys are playing clips over
By
here.
the way, this was a while ago. He
It's
turned on you
timestamp.
when he saw that you support trans rights. I know. He spoke ill of you.
No. Even before he
Bro,
actually
who
meets
cares? I'm
me.
not even mad. I don't care about this guy.
No, well, seemingly you care enough about it that
I'm
you
just-
brought him up here and you used him.
You didn't
in the
even let me
past.
explain why I'm showing
You
it.
used him in the past to act like I was sending
Bro,
hate
you're
your way.
terrified because you know where this is going.
I have no idea where this is going. This has been a journey.
Well, how about you let me fucking speak, and then we can figure out. We can take the journey together.
Can you play this clip though?
So this clip is just an example. Not that you're endorsing him. Not that he's a fan.
Can you play? Dan, I send you a clip.
I passed it along. It's out of my hands.
It's the
I'll play
first
it.
introduction of this
Yeah,
character onto the stream where he's like, "Who's this guy?"
I'll play it. Yeah.
Pothead or Potman. Is that it? Are you guys doing interviews? I know I look Jewish.
No, we're just streaming.
Israeli. I look like Israeli.
We're just the guy. Normally the answer would be yes, but he's busy right now.
What are you guys doing?
They're not there.
We're just streaming.
Live stream. Oh, live stream?
Yeah.
Dude.
You're not even in this clip, bro. What are you talking about? You're not even present.
Later.
You're out.
What?
You're out playing with swastika swords or something. You're not even in this clip.
Dude, why? Chat. I think he's showing it on his side. You're not seeing the clip. Yes. Yeah. He's
It's
he's showing the clip.
okay.
That is the first introduction of this character onto the broadcast, and he doesn't know who the fuck I am. He just sees cameras and goes, "Oh, I would like to do interviews with this person who is famous." It seems that was the whole point. The reason why I showed you that is because he was never a fucking fan, and then when he saw the full extent of my viewpoints, he started calling me the F slur. He's a Sneeko fan.
Hassan, in that clip, he doesn't see you. You're not there.
Ethan, he is a clout chaser. And
Fine,
not a
bro.
fan.
I don't care. Who cares? Let me ask you a
I
question.
do care because
okay, very good.
I do care because you have made an inference.
Oh my
that is
God, dude.
erroneous.
You are
have
dragging
made
your
an
feet on this
inference that
topic,
is-
bro. It's getting ridiculous. Can we
You've made
please
an
move
inference
on?
that is
This
ridiculous.
clip you sent
and
didn't prove
also
me wrong
false.
at all. You're not there. And you were never there, Hassan. Okay, let's continue, please.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is an example of someone who I think is anti-Semitic. You probably agree with me on that, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. He's not a fan of
Yeah,
yours.
I think that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I've seen, any number of different things I've seen from that dude, I think he's like a right-wing dating coach or something.
Yeah, he is. Dating Money 101, baby. Like and
Yeah.
sub. All right, so here he is using the ADL. He accuses me of being in the ADL, and I'll play it. Operation?
Okay. I don't know, but I heard you survived it, and I heard you survived the Holocaust.
That timeline on that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I heard you're in the ADL, bro.
The ADL? No, I'm not. All right, so he says, I heard you're in the ADL, bro, which, like, obviously is, I perceive that as anti-Semitic.
I don't think you're in the ADL, Ethan, if that's what you're going to say.
Well, you said, and I'll quote a tweet that you made. Okay?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, God.
You said, I'll quote, he worked with the ADL to make Zionists a protected class on Twitch. Now, that is an outright lie.
I don't think it's an outright lie.
I worked with the
took credit
ADL.
over it, didn't you?
Sorry. I worked with the ADL. What does that mean?
Yeah, as in, like, worked alongside. I don't think you're in the ADL.
Oh, that's what you meant when you said I worked with the ADL. I worked beside
Yes.
them, just incidentally together. You didn't mean that I
Yeah,
worked
yeah,
with
no,
them
I do
privately to
think
get
that.
people
Yeah.
banned. Of course not.
No, I do think that.
Didn't
I
you
stand
say
by
you
that.
choose your
I
words
think
very
that you
carefully?
worked alongside the ADL.
You just told me briefly ago. You
concerns.
choose your words very carefully, Hassan.
Not always. I'm famously.
Okay, we're walking that back. Sometimes I speak out the side of my mouth when I say you work with the ADL. Here you are again repeating the lie with Steiny on video. Go ahead. You had time to
Constantly come after me when he knows I'm not anti-Semitic and making these inferences that I am, and like partnering with like the ADL and
partnering with the ADL. You want to unpack that one there, buddy?
Yeah. Again, partnering with the ADL. That is precisely what
I have
took
never
place.
spoken to the ADL, so what does that mean?
I'm not saying you directed the ADL
Do you know
to take
how
action.
silly you
Well, actually, you know
look?
what? I am kind of saying that. I am implying that you directed the ADL to take action.
Well, that's
you are
a
a prominent.
that's a
you are
defamatory
prominent
claim that has
content
zero
creator.
proof. And
You are
frankly, it sounds a
prominent
little Jewish
content creator.
conspiratorial.
If I thought that you worked for the ADL, I would have
I've
said
not
you worked
spoken
with
to the ADL.
I would have said you worked for the ADL. Now, what's interesting to me, of course, about
Hassan,
this is that
I
you
do
have
not
taken
work with the
credit for
ADL.
these bans.
Hassan, I do not work with the ADL.
You were a part of the mass smear campaign.
That is
with
not
your
working with the
YouTube
ADL. Would you
videos
say that
falsely
I got nothing to
claimed
do with
that
the ADL? Blame Frogan for doing a racist fucking panel at TwitchCon that became a viral
That
story
wasn't
independent
a
of
racist
me.
panel, Ethan. Just like cracker is not an anti-white term,
Okay,
except public pressure clearly works on Twitch, and they make erroneous bans when they don't want people coming after them.
Here's
which
Frogan
has
repeating the same lie that you heard from
public
you.
pressure on numerous instances.
This is what you heard from you.
everything in your power to push people to bully and harass me, including weaponizing propaganda organizations such as the ADL to get me banned off Twitch because I made a
So
joke.
she said I weaponized the ADL. You said I partnered with the ADL. You said I worked with the ADL.
Yes.
But you didn't mean that I spoke
Yes.
to them. You just meant that we were magically skipping along and happened to just without even seeing each other, just working together in perfect harmony and love. And by the way, I'm pretty sure you're implying that I worked directly with them on this.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, you doubled down on it. You said that you do believe that, and I just want to let you know that that is a.
No, I don't think you directly work with them. I think your goals are aligned on this. Yes, and
for Mr. Precise words, say that. Don't say you're partnered with the ADL. Do you understand? You said partnered with the ADL. Me, a Jewish man, you accused without any evidence at all of being partnered with the ADL. You're now trying to rewrite history and say I said you were working besides them. You are a liar.
What are you talking about?
You are a virulent fucking liar.
Ethan, did you or did you not take ownership over the bands?
I think, yeah, I might have. Does that mean that I'm working with the ADL?
Ethan?
Hey, Hassan, can I ask you a question? Are you working with the Neo-Nazi Party of America? Because they're also anti-Zionist. No, seriously. Are you working with the Neo-Nazi group of America who's also anti-Zionist?
Kind of
do you work with them? Are you affiliated with them? Are you partnered with neo-Nazis? Or do you guys happen to have the same goal and are completely related?
Here's a parallel for you. Have I taken credit for a neo-Nazi anti-Semitic incident that took place? Because if the answer is yes, if neo-Nazis actually engaged in an action, neo-Nazis actually, not like your fucking hallucinations, something that we all agree, like neo-Nazis did an anti-Semitic incident, and I took credit for it, and I said, this is awesome, I'm glad that it happened. I made numerous videos so that they would do this. Yes,
I was on the tier list, bro.
In saying that
it was literally targeting me. I was on the tier list.
Especially considering, Ethan,
I don't have to be a member of ADL to respond to someone harassing me.
Listen to my words, please. Listen to my words.
I'm trying, but it's just fucking lies and filth and like empty air.
From your perspective, my association as a 10-year fighter of anti-Semitism, my association from your perspective with anti-Semitism is like something that is so laughable that I don't even know how to describe. Like you're like, oh, it's a swastika sword, but then you admit that it's not a swastika sword. That's how loose this association is. But on the other hand, I can't say that you have worked alongside the ADL in getting
you said I'm partnered with. Partnered with. You are lying. You are rewriting. You are not taking accountability. You said I'm partnered with the ADL.
Ethan, I can't take accountability for your hallucinations.
Do you think that the normal, reasonable person watching that will infer that we were just coincidentally working the same, or that I was working directly with them?
What do you think a reasonable person would
conclude from saying I'm partnered with the ADL?
What do you think a normal, reasonable person would infer when they hear you?
Bro, you are literally gaslighting me. It's so obvious
demanding the bans of Twitch streamers, and then after they are banned, you say, "I'm glad that they got banned. I take credit for it." What would a normal, reasonable person infer?
I was on the tier list, dude. I was responding to them. It wasn't like I'm fucking like. It wasn't like I went out of my way to get them banned. I responded to them. I was on the tier list. There's been 3 instances, I think, of, in my opinion, very credible accusations of anti-Semitism. You've accused me of hallucinating all 3 now, which is very convenient.
No, and also, they're not credible. We are not in agreement. These are not credible allegations of anti-Semitism. These are hysterical hallucinations of a person who desperately wants all of his critics to be anti-Semites, so he can feel comfortable in the unique position that he has created for himself.
I'm so glad this is on record. So you think?
Yeah, I'm glad you. Yes.
So you think that the You think a reasonable person would hear you say he's partnered with the ADL and not think that I was working directly with them?
I think a reasonable person will hear your own words and think that you probably worked directly inside of the ADL.
Have I ever mentioned the ADL?
Have
I ever mentioned the ADL?
You took credit
for the ban. Did I ever mention the ADL, Hassan? Answer the question.
It doesn't matter. You took credit for the ban that the ADL pressured.
Do I ever mention the ADL in my entire fucking career? Actually, I mentioned them once, but I didn't even know what they were, frankly, if you have the thing. It was even... Did I ever...
Yeah, it's a clip where you are saying, I did that shit. I'll fucking take credit for it. You know who did that shit? The ADL did. You are taking credit for something that the ADL did. I'm not even making that inference.
Well,
You're
they
saying,
me.
Which one do you think? What do you think the average person would think in that situation when you are saying that you did that shit?
This is
so
stupid.
The ADL's pressure that caused these people to be banned for such a ridiculous...
silly. I don't
care. Not anti-Semitic thing at all.
I was being silly. They attacked me. I responded. Do I know who...
One specific small incident.
I guess we can move on.
Do I think I got them banned? I don't know. Who knows? You know, I think that
you got a Jewish content creator alongside multiple Arab content creators banned off the platform for 30 days.
There's a reason they call him token, my friend.
Actually reacted.
You spend time being a token, you're gonna get spent.
But it was just silly.
You know the thing I never liked too. They say get them banned like as if like that.
Am I what? Would you like to cash in on your Jewish friends?
Power for that, right? You violate Twitch term of service. You violate Twitch term of service.
You know any Jewish people that aren't anti-Zionist?
Yes.
Who?
I'm not going to review. I don't want to. They're normies. I don't want to dox them.
You're lying. You're
surrounded.
Yes,
I'm not lying.
You're absolutely lying.
Dog, I live in West Hollywood. Do you think I'm not around Zionist Jews? What are you talking about?
Do you pass Jews on the street? Yes. Are you friends with?
No, I'm friends. Yes.
Okay.
I am.
I don't believe
you. And they've treated me with much more dignity than you have, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, because you're not on the receiving end of the same fucking harassment.
I can have a more normal conversation with them than you, seemingly.
All right, so you think that...
They would most likely laugh at all of this.
Just to recap here, so we can move on. I mean, did the random Zionist Jews that are treated you so kindly, did they have CPS show up to their house or skulls sent to their house?
Ethan, I didn't do that.
Ethan.
I didn't say you did that.
I don't know why you're bringing that up.
I know you don't, but
that
you're
has
acting
nothing to do with me. I'm not being supportive of
that. Is acting obtuse when you're caught in the corner.
Okay, all right. You've dominated the conversation so far. I think we should get back to some stuff that...
I agree. Let's just summarize.
No. Look, can we just get back to this?
It's very quick.
Like, you
I just want to put a cap
aside.
on this. Just a cap.
and making these
You're doing the
inferences
thing that I'm
am,
so
and,
critical of you on.
partnering with like the ADL.
You said so. Just to put a cap on this, and we'll move on. You said I am quote partnered with the ADL, which you now claim was just a you didn't mean that I was working with them. You mean that we had the same goal. Okay, very good. We'll see how that plays. Go ahead. What's your question?
Okay.
You okay?
It's interesting because you're currently doing the thing that I'm criticizing you on, where you are looking at a situation that you recognize is a genocide, and your only consideration and your only concern
It's not my only concern. I care about multiple things, my friend.
Yes, you can, but these are really stupid things to care about.
I mean, that's easy for you to say. You're the one being accused of it. Let's just let's ask the accused how serious their crime is. Fucking brilliant. O.J. Simpson, do you think that this is a serious court
do you
case?
think
No, I don't.
Well,
and there it is. Let's let him free.
Do you think that the Sabra Hummus's shit tier is akin to O.J. Simpson killing someone?
No, obviously not. You're being obtuse.
Then why are you bringing up stupid fucking
Because you're accused. You are saying that the accused, right, can dictate
where's the Hassan
how serious
question
the
now,
accusations
Hassan?
are.
Okay. All right, Ethan.
I'm
You
partnered
have
with
in the
ADL.
past-
Remember what you
have
said.
in the past talked about your pro-Palestinian bona fides. You have
What do you mean
talked about how
bona
you
fides?
gave
Come
my
on.
fundraiser. What?
Sorry, what do you mean by bona fides?
Like that you claimed that you were a stalwart ally of the Palestinian cause.
Correct.
You tried to also say this to Sam Cedar as well.
Mm-hmm.
You brought forward the fact that you had given $6,500 in your context puke
Mm-hmm.
that you did as a further indication that you are pro-Palestinian. Even though you then turned around and actually criticized additional fundraisers that had taken place, like the Creators for Palestine charity that generated $1.3 million, including the fundraiser that you initially had given $6,500 to as a reason for why you were such a staunch ally. Why did you turn around and say that pro-Palestinian fundraisers are actually completely irrelevant in the grand scheme of things and completely useless? Do you think that
Yeah.
pro-Palestinian charities are simply there to make yourself feel like you're pro-Palestine? Do you feel like $6,500 was enough for you
I'll
to
answer.
spend the rest of the year actively deplatforming
People
pro-Palestinian
harassing me?
creators?
I'll answer your question.
right.
So I claimed when talking about now. By the way, this is something I criticize you for, which is being obtuse, mischaracterizing arguments, and basically just being a prolific liar. So here's what the conversation was about, right? I was talking about how when you're talking about activism, raising money isn't the most important thing because it can only do so much. There's other ways to do effective activism, like protesting, et cetera, working with Palestinian organizations. So I'm just saying, my point was not that
But you wanted me to be deplatformed
Let me
as a
finish.
virulent anti-Semite, and I've done all of those things.
My point was that not that raising money is bad or dumb or pointless, as you erroneously claim I said. My point was that it's not the most effective thing in the world, and there's other things. It's probably like the least effective form of advocacy you can do. That was my opinion.
I don't think that's the case, and I don't think that the Palestinians that
What's not the
receive
case?
those.
What I said or what I claim?
No, your claim is wrong.
Okay, that's fine.
In terms
We
of the
disagree.
fundraisers not being important.
That's fine.
So we've established that you claim to be pro-Palestine, and yet you've spent all of the genocide coverage criticizing
Attacking people that
who
harass
are
me.
fundraising, creating, working with Palestinian organizations.
I never said it's not important.
Interviewing Palestinians from Gaza.
Hassan, being an advocate for Palestine does not absolve you of criticism. Stop with the
claiming
silliness.
that they are anti-Semitic. No, this does not, because your criticisms are ridiculous. My
Well,
point
I
I'm
mean,
trying
that's
to make
kinda up
here
to other people
is
to
that
decide at this
your
point.
criticisms are in your own mind. Like you have hallucinated an
By the way,
alternative
gaslighting,
reality.
anti-Semitic trope. This is what dog whistles are. You whistle to other people, and you have it's subtle enough that you have
people
plausible
being mean to you is
deniability,
not
so that when you get
anti-Semitism.
accused of being anti-Semitic, you can call the accuser crazy, which is exactly what you're
Ethan,
doing. You are a
Ethan,
fucking anti-Semite,
Ethan,
and you've been caught out 3
Ethan.
different times, calling me crazy for very viable, very credible examples of anti-Semitism that you should at least be able to admit are at least not insane. Maybe a misunderstanding, but not insane. But no, according to you, they're all hallucinations. So go ahead and tell me why you're not dog whistling.
Yes, because people having an issue with your statements and with your coverage as a prominent content creator with a relatively progressive audience, your coverage has entirely focused on
wrong.
your own personal feelings
Not entire.
and a lot of misplaced paranoia from people who are
There you go,
criticizing
dog whistle.
you. You literally think
Can we get a
that
whistle
people
soundbite every time
criticizing
he
you or
calls me
not
paranoid or
liking you is
hallucinating?
anti-Semitism.
You got a
That's not the
whistle?
case. I used to like you. I don't know anymore. And I don't think it's because
Well,
of
I know.
anti-Semitism.
I
didn't
definitely don't
develop
like you.
anti-Semitism after
Let
doing
me
a
stand
podcast
on
for 2
business and say
years.
I think you're a terrible person and a liar, and
there we
I don't
go.
like you at all.
I know.
There
I
you go.
know.
Stand
I
on
wish you well. I
business.
do. I
Yeah.
wish you well, and I really do.
I wish
hope.
everybody well. Everybody, be well. All right, let's move on. You got it. You want any more? Call me crazy or hallucinating again? Is that all you got?
I don't even need to do that. I think you're doing that all on your own.
We'll see.
To be fair.
Yeah, we'll see. So, do you want to tell me what is your evidence that I work with, or talk to, or have any association with at all with Destiny?
What?
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 What? What? The guy that I talk about fucking obsessively 100 times a day? That is like basically like the Antichrist, the Lord Voldemort in my community? Yeah, you accuse me of working with him,
Oh, God.
knowing him, talking
This
to
would
him.
be good.
What is your evidence for that?
Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're very
Not only
welcome.
is there video footage of you corresponding with someone in your Discord that literally aligns perfectly with Destiny's own Discord offering clips for you to pull.
That sounds like a stretch.
You've also used used clips that are unlisted called Hamasabi when making arguments about my virulent anti-Semitism from an unlisted link that came from a Destiny fan account.
So that's your
But
proof that I
also,
work with Destiny.
None of that is relevant.
Okay.
What's relevant is your constant coordination with Destiny's podcast co-host Dan Saltman, who you featured on your Context Nuke. So yeah,
Did I
I
feature
don't
him in
think
my
it's that
Context?
ridiculous of a fucking assertion to make, especially when
I don't remember what it
considering the fact that you have been corresponding with Dan Saltman, and you did, and he is Destiny's podcast co-host, and the what does he call himself? The general of the Hezbollah, I think that's what they call themselves, the Taliban and the Hezbollah, their mass harassment operation that they engage in. So yeah, I think that is not a ridiculous fucking claim to make at all.
It's actually insane, and it's a really convenient way of discrediting me when I've never spoken to,
No, I think you're
worked
doing
with,
enough
talked
to
about
discredit
Destiny in
yourself
my
all on your own.
life.
I don't need to bring
It's a
that up.
really nice way of you. You know what? I think you're hallucinating, buddy. I think you are you pulled a meme from his subreddit once, and there was a guy in your Discord that's also in his Discord. I think you're
I
hallucinating.
didn't say any of those things.
You sound fucking unhinged, dude. Are you crashing out, Hassan?
Ethan, I didn't.
Hassan, are you crashing out?
I gave you.
Do you have friends who are aware
reason.
of the condition and can help you get the help you need?
Okay, Ethan.
You're delusional.
He's
You
doing the
featured Destiny's podcast.
I said he discovered the IP ban. Is that
onward.
not true? I said Dan
Crazy.
Saltman discovered the IP ban. That's all I said. I didn't endorse. I didn't. All I said is he discovered the IP ban. Is that true? Is that materially true?
I don't think
It
so.
is. It is.
I think someone in Destiny's community did, but it's fine. Yeah.
So
you
how
brought
is that
up.
an endorsement?
Ethan, are you
Ethan,
claiming
is
that
this
you
what
don't
you
have
do whenever you're trying to avoid
correspondence with Dan Saltman?
Ethan, Hassan, are you hallucinating?
Ethan,
Damn, is this
Hassan,
store closed
do
yet?
you not
Oh, it
correspond
is.
with
Cool.
Destiny's podcast co-host Dan Saltman?
I've talked to Dan Saltman, but also I don't think that that's Destiny, is it?
Yeah, no, that's just his podcast co-host and is perfectly
You
aligned with him
say-
and uses his community to brigade. And also has literally tried to blackmail people in Destiny's
don't
own
really
community
fucking care
for
because that's not
literally
Destiny, is it?
unearthing sex crimes that he did.
Man, you
Do
are
you feel
really
like that's a good
hallucinating.
person to align with?
I'm
that
not
you now
endorsing
openly
him.
admit.
I'm not endorsing him at all. I just said I've spoken to him.
No, yeah, you're not endorsing him. You're just getting
Have
information
you ever
from him
spoken to somebody
use.
you don't endorse? I mean, what kind of silly bullshit are we doing here?
Certainly.
Well,
That is-
there you
yes, I
go.
speak to
Oh my
people I
God,
don't
dude.
endorse. I'm speaking to
Dude,
one
you
right
talked
now.
to Dan Saltman. You're fucking outed as a Destiny's best friend.
Ethan, you're the one who admitted that just now.
I said
You
I've
also
spoken with
brought
Dan
forward-
Saltman, not that I'm a Destiny collaborator, which is what you claim, which is an outright, pathetic, provably wrong lie. And this is part of your disinformation campaign to delegitimize my points
I don't
without
think I need
ever
to
having to
delegitimize
address
by
them.
associating
And
you
isn't
with
that
Destiny.
convenient? You never have to address anything I say because you can just say, Ethan's friends with Destiny. Ethan's hallucinating.
Ethan, I don't
Hassan?
think I need to. I didn't bring up Destiny. You did.
Yeah,
and also,
because you lied about me for 2 years working with him.
2 years.
That's right. Hassan, listen.
Ethan, this is kind of embarrassing
Year and a half.
to admit, but I defended you both to my community and in general because I thought that you were a lot more open-minded until
What have we
pretty much
disagreed on?
The
What have we
December of
disagreed on?
2024.
I'm sorry. What am I not open-minded about? What have we disagreed on, Hassan, other than me criticizing you and your friends? What have I said against the Palestinian people? Go ahead. What do we
What
disagree
are
on?
disagreeing on is what you choose to focus on
that seem
and
significant?
what you think is the major point of contention here.
Well, that's first of all, what I choose to focus on is certainly something you can critique.
A little frivolous.
But does that justify like lying about me continually for a year and a half just because you don't like where I'm focused? That seems immaterial.
Lying about what?
About me being a Destiny fan, about hallucinating, sweeping for your anti-Semitic friends, lying about context, saying that my video's out of context without watching it. Hassan, take your time.
Do you feel like your video wasn't out of context?
Absolutely
wasn't it a
not.
compilation of a 2-hour sequence of out of context clips?
You want to do this? What's out of context?
Okay.
Name one thing. Go ahead, read the chat. Someone will send you on Discord.
No. I have it readily available.
Well, I'll wait.
One of the major points that you made that I've seen through other people's coverage of it so far is that I deny rapes happening on October 7. Okay? That I deny rapes happening on October 7. There's a clip of you when you first encounter that statement where you are actually understanding of my position until your wife stops you and says that's inappropriate. You literally say, oh, he's saying the likelihood of rapes happening does not justify genocide, which you agree a genocide is happening. Ever
Uncontested.
since then, though, months later, you still chose
Her
to
name is
use that
Hila, by
clip
the way,
as
Hassan.
14
I don't
seconds
know
long
why you
out of
refer to her as
context.
my wife. I find that a little chauvinistic, frankly. You know who she is. You know her well. You've begged for Teddy Fresh from her many times. So, like, yeah, you know who she is. You've written
Okay,
her emails
Hila.
asking for clothing. Her name is Hila.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean,
so
yeah,
why don't you
that's
say
fine.
that? Why,
Okay.
Who goes, oh, your wife? Like, she's not. She has no. She's just like, oh.
I wasn't. Can you respond to what
Yes,
I was
absolutely.
saying?
With
Why
with
is
great
it-
pleasure, I
Why
will
is it
respond.
that? Why is it that
Because,
you
Hassan,
initially
that
understood
was
the full
one.
context until Hila
I think Ethan
stopped
is.
you and
good.
said,
He
no,
said
no,
it.
no.
I ain't gonna lie, Ethan's a little.
I'll answer. Would you like me to answer?
I
That's one
guess,
example
like,
of
okay,
many.
referring
Seeing
to
your
her as
response in the
your
totality
wife,
of
I
all the
mean,
responses shows
same
that you
person.
do deny the rapes that happened on October 7th. In
In
fact,
the totality of all my
in
responses.
fact, you had promised me, and I know you would never lie to me, that you would watch the context puke with me. So why don't we pull up that bit there, and we can see how out of context it is.
Boom, do it.
Great. Someone pulling that, Dan? How you doing? I'm waiting for the link. You good?
Am I? Oh yeah, I'm great. I don't think this is going the way you perceived it to be going. But
Sure. I mean, you're reading your chat. Do you think that's the
I'll
most
be honest
accurate
with you.
way to-
I was going to be. I was thinking about being a lot more stern initially,
sure.
but this has turned into the last conversation that we had, where I am trying to gently nudge you in the direction of sanity.
Ethan, I want you to really understand. You're crazy. You're crashing out. You're hallucinating, my friend. Come sit over here. You know what I mean? Don't ignore the swastika. Ignore the accusations of working with the ADL with no credibility. Ignore the tier list with fucking Ben Shapiro and Ethan. Come sit here. You're hallucinating. Oh, thank you so much for. You know what? Thank you, Hassan. That's so kind of you. How fucking genuine of you to take off the baby gloves. You fucking liar.
I mean, this is.
You are a prolific liar, bro. Where's the link? Just control F or.
The reason, for the record, the reason why I don't like to bring Keela into the conversation is because I'm addressing my concerns with you, and I don't think that it's appropriate for me to, extend the lens of criticism
that's a
to
little
other
silly
people.
considering you're like, well, actually, it was Hila who influenced your opinion, the evil IDF lady.
Okay, while we're waiting for the clip.
No, I got it. Deny the violent rapes that took place. That is way beyond the pale.
I'm hearing you. There is one instance in captivity.
Chair react.
That we have.
I'm not gonna let you chair react to me, buddy. You grab that Dr. Pepper. I'll wait.
No, I said I'm listening to you. Don't worry. I was grabbing another soda. Go ahead.
On the pale.
There is one instance in captivity. Did you put a Hamas headband on me?
I sure did.
There is one instance in captivity that we have actually gotten verifiable evidence on. Beyond that, the systematized mass rapes that Hamas dealt on October 7, not a single bit of that has been verified. And people still run with it over and over and over again.
Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped.
I can't see myself, by the way,
As
if
I
you're showing
said,
my
Israel
reaction.
has Israel has a right to defend
No, I'm not
itself.
giggling.
You sure
I'm
are.
Bro, what rapes did Hamas do? What are you talking
What
about?
rapes did Hamas
Stop
do?
Anti-Semitism account that considered me to be anti-Semite of the week has also been hallucinating rapes once again, doing rape fantasies once again because they're fucking mentally ill.
Hamas has
committed.
committed.
That's something you go to a lot. You notice that? Call
What?
people mentally ill. I find that odd. Probably should revise that. I don't know if that's kosher for leftist values.
Horrific acts
I'm
of sexual
exactly
violence.
I'm not exactly doing a lot of stuff that's kosher for leftist values in
okay,
general.
so
but I don't really,
you have no problem weaponizing mental health.
Yeah, when someone is hallucinating, I think it's appropriate to say that.
By your authority, I will decide who's hallucinating. Hassan. Watch this.
Horrific acts of sexual violence.
Eden.
Hassan, I am so sorry. You promised that we would watch this. I pulled it up. Now sit silently and enjoy.
Okay, but I got the point. You're saying that like you're showing clips of me. You're showing clips of me saying that
women
someone
and
is
girls, men and boys slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7. Like that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much. So that's the other part of this problem that many people can't contend with. Like
I can't believe how quickly leftists go from believe all women to Pixar didn't happen. There you go, Hassan. What do you got?
Pixar didn't happen. That's great commentary, by the way. Okay,
I mean,
so,
it's pretty apt.
Okay, so let's talk about it. You did actually. I'm surprised. You did actually show
Even if the race happened,
my
it don't
findings on
matter.
the UN
That's
committee
crazy.
report that came out.
The one that you misrepresent continually.
I
That you
did not
fucking
misrepresent
continually
the UN
lie about the
preliminary
conclusion.
report. Wait, what did I misrepresent about the
Go
UN
ahead, you tell me.
preliminary report?
Tell me what it said.
The UN preliminary report was not an investigative report. Like, for example, the investigative report that came out about Israel's systematized sexual assaults that was 49 pages long.
Horrible. What a horrible thing that was.
Yeah, no,
Unironically.
absolutely.
Just unacceptable.
The level of evidence in a preliminary report is only enough to actually create an actual investigation. The problem is Israel has denied an actual investigation to take place. Israel has told the United Nations that they are not allowed to do an actual investigation and to simply listen to what they have to say. Now, not only is Israel...
There are literally women who have said, I was
Do you
raped.
feel like the Israeli government lies?
Do you? I mean, all governments lie. I'm not going to defend Israel.
I agree.
You said there's women that come out and say, I was raped.
What?
I'd move a little bit more to Hassan on this one. I mean, there should be no reason why Israel
there are
would
multiple
deny
women
the
that are on the
investigation.
record saying
I
I
don't
was
know why
raped.
they would do
There
that.
is, as far as I understand,
Well, you should
one
look-
instance
well, of
in
course, as
captivity.
far as you
It's not
understand, 'cause you don't give a
systematized mass
fuck about
rape
the
directed by
reality of
Hamas.
it.
What?
Well, of course, that's as far as you can conclude because you don't give a fuck about the truth. You just
Wait,
want to do propaganda, remember?
Ethan.
Hassan, please, calm down.
Okay.
You're getting worked up.
I don't know why you're
whoa.
behaving in such a childish manner when we
I'm
are
not.
actually talking about finally some serious stuff. Okay?
Well, okay.
Okay. In terms of the UN preliminary report and the findings, okay, there is a clear-cut lack of evidence for any forensic examination to take place due to the incompetence of the Israeli government and specifically the organization Zakah that spent most of its time in the immediate aftermath of October 7 taking bodies out of body bags and putting them into Zakah branded body bags. This was reported by Haaretz as well. They polluted the evidence pool. Okay? That's number one. Number two, numerous people that
Right,
came out
don't
and
you just
offered
do a rape
eyewitness
kit?
testimony have since then been discredited. Also, according to Haaretz reporting.
Which article?
And other types of body bags.
I don't. I mean,
What's
I
the
can't pull it right
Haaretz
now.
article
just
that
injected
accuses
semen into, like,
victims
the
of sexual
dead
assault
bodies?
of lying about it? Go ahead and link me that one. And by the way, while you look for that,
No, not victims of sexual assault, Ethan. I'm using my words very carefully.
Right.
Not
Of course,
victims
I remember
of
you do
sexual
that.
assault. Not victims of sexual assault. Eyewitness testimony initially provided that led people to believe that there were
Show me
sexual
that.
assaults that were taking place
Show me the source.
were then discredited.
Show me the source. By the way, Hassan, why you look for that? I'm assuming that you're quoting the UN Representative Secretary General on Sexual Violence and Conflicts report, right? This is one everyone refers to. Now, are you aware how these kind of papers work? They do a very precise conclusion at the end that summarizes the main thesis and points driven home in the article. That's what the conclusion is. Let me read it for you. Overall, based on the totality of information gathered from multiple and independent sources at different locations, there are reasonable grounds to believe that conflict-related sexual violence occurred at several locations across the Gaza periphery, including in the form of rape, gang rape, during the October 7th, 2023 attack. Credible, circumstantial information which may be indicative of some forms of sexual violence, including genital mutilation, sexualized torture, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment, was also gathered.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I'm gonna walk
Are
you
they
through this real quick.
hallucinating?
No. So you just don't know what words mean. So credible circumstantial evidence. Do you know what that means?
It means that there's, yeah, of course.
Credible circumstantial evidence is not a substitute for forensic evidence. Credible
That's why I said Pixar didn't happen, bro.
Not
You need
enough
rape
to
kits.
prosecute.
Hassan needs
Credible
rape kits.
circumstantial evidence is not enough
Pixar
to
didn't happen, right?
prosecute rape, which is precisely the reason why the Israeli prosecutors themselves have said that in the absence of a singular victim coming out, and also with all of the forensic evidence that has been tarnished already.
Show me evidence for anything you're saying.
What?
That's not. Show me evidence for anything you're claiming that isn't some unhinged freak on Twitter. Believe all
This is
women.
not an
Hey,
unhinged freak on
hey,
Twitter.
are we
This is,
believing all
again,
women
there's
unless
also
they're
an article that
Israeli?
you can-
Right after October 7th Hamas attack in Israel, Zaka, the disaster victim identification volunteers, were among the first civilians responding on the scene. Zaka is an Israeli rescue and recovery organization primarily staffed by ultra-Orthodox Jewish volunteers, known for their work in collecting human remains for proper burial according to Jewish law. I think what happened is, a lot of what happened is that obviously you don't rape
I'll
someone and
send
then
you
keep them
the
alive.
PBS
Right? So
article
most of them were
on-
murdered, and a lot of the forensic
I'm
evidence.
sending Dan the PBS article about how two debunked accounts of sexual violence on October 7th fueled the global dispute over Israel-Hamas war. This is from May 22nd, 2022. This is about the witness testimony that was discredited. Okay.
But so even if one account was discredited, there's many.
No, it's not one account. It's two accounts. But the rest
There's
of the
way more than two accounts.
Oh my God, bro.
Hey, Hassan, you know what you're doing? You're like, this girl lied about being raped, therefore all these women need
All
to be
of the
questioned.
other ones, so
That's
they're
actually
not
what you're doing. You're
good.
saying Pixar didn't happen. I don't believe
Ethan,
women if they're
Can
Israeli.
you point me to actual
But
like
Ethan
victims that
completely
came out?
dismissed
Because
it.
as far as I
Yes,
understand,
there's also
Israeli
problems
police
with
have
it,
asked
too.
victims and witnesses to testify about Hamas and sexual violence in the aftermath of October 7, and it seems like their investigations were inconclusive because by the admission of the Israeli
Show me
prosecution,
evidence of anything you're
they
saying.
openly said that there were no victims that came out.
Yeah, let me guess. You read it on Haaretz.
You don't wait. Do you think that Haaretz is not a credible
No, it
institution
is, but
of
you
journalism
just,
at this point?
No, but you guys lean on that. You just lie about what it says because
What do
it
you mean,
sounds
you guys?
credible.
Who is you guys?
You and all of your fucking dumbass cohorts that do the same typical like rhetorical tools to just say whatever the fuck you want without ever having to back it up or knowing what you're talking about in the least bit. So show me the evidence. Haaretz boy.
I sent
Swastika boy.
debunked narratives, and also here is the Israeli prosecutor Morangitz has acknowledged that 15 months after the events of October 7, 2023, Israel has still not identified any victims in which a case can be brought against an alleged perpetrator of a sexual attack.
They're all dead.
The admission is in line with a complete lack of any credible evidence regarding incidents of sexual violence,
all
which is
dead.
particularly notable when these claimed. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this foundation is, but there is news reporting on this. I don't know why
They're all
someone sent me
dead,
this link
bro.
of this.
Do you think what is your point? What you said doesn't change anything. You're talking about. Do you think
Ethan,
that they
where are the
raped people and then
victims?
didn't kill them?
You said that there are victims. Can you give me
Yes,
the names of the
yes,
victims?
yes, yes.
I will. First of all, I am not in the business of denying
You
rape.
are.
If there are victims that have come forward in this
I will
process,
play it for you.
as I've said, there was an instance of sexual assault that took place in captivity, and it was not the systematized rape that was directed by Hamas, as the New York Times' erroneous reporting that did not meet its own standard, its own editorial standard, as a matter of fact, written by a person who literally was taken off the editorial board, taken off the actual paper for some of her insane tweets about Gaza. None of these. Like there's a lot of stories surrounding this, but I'm not in the business of fucking denying rape. So if you have
Well, only if there's
credible
really.
evidence, please present it, and I will admit that I'm wrong. Give me the names.
yeah. There's a video. Hold on.
Is the video from Screams Without Violence? Is that where you're gonna? Is that where you're gonna present?
No, it's not from that. There's one recently of a woman testifying. I think it was either in the UN or to Congress. She's sitting on a bench, she's talking to a mic, and she's speaking in English.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, we'll get there. But like, yeah, I mean, what's your problem with Sheryl Sandberg's documentary?
Sheryl Sandberg has also been accused of sexual harassment herself, but outside of that,
What the fuck does that have to do with what's written in her documentary?
Her documentary
So,
is basically the
I
unsubstantiated
thought this was gonna
claims
be
that
good,
some of
but
which were
like
directly,
Hassan is just getting
directly
destroyed. Something crazy. Yeah, see, I was just ASMR for those who had parents who fought when they were kids. I just took to some tension under the surface here. These men kissed at one point in their lives. A yelling would give me nightmares. For almost 5 hours, I'm shocked. Yeah. Oh, damn, this was 5 hours? I'm not watching this. It's crazy. I think we're gonna I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut it here. I mean, it's already 4:30. I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of wild. I think what I'll do is no, actually, because it's already almost the end of the day for the shopping thing too. So I think I'll spend like maybe 10 minutes like arguing with the AI about something, but then after that, I don't even know what would I even talk. Oh, actually, I think we'll just pick this up tomorrow because I'm just not really feeling it, honestly. Just doesn't seem like it just didn't really seem like it today. This is just like a destruction of Hassan because Hassan is just being looked so bad, like with like his clear contradictions and like his the whole like you know hating Jewish behavior to a degree, right? That like whether he like actually hates Jews or not, that yeah, I have no idea. But like the thing that Ethan's been walking him on just like his behavior does look like pretty crazy, or it doesn't make any sense. But I guess it is what it is. Oh, here you are. Are you going to go put it back? Once a bunch of people start rolling through on the purchasing the products, I think would be good. Did you just like swap one for the other? That's pretty gangster. Oh, or maybe you was just naturally. Huh, interesting. Like, oh, I get it. And then, oh, you can't really run with this, can you? And then you could just go over here, right? And yes, okay, got it. Okay, you can, instead of restocking, you can go ahead and get stuff in the storage now. Single store came to my cashier. That's fine. I have so many self checkouts. Should help with the stuff. Hurry up, you. Where the broom at? I'm gonna beat the speed into you. Cause I'm trying to like go to sleep. Hurry up. Shit, man. Taking all day. Matter of fact, let me see. Let me conduct an analysis on your fit here. Let me see. Trying to see what's going on here. Let's see. Okay. Typical basic fit there. What's up with your shoes? Why are your shoes deformed like that? Hold on. I need to see what's. Let me look back. Let's just stay still, man. Shit. It's too dark out here. Want to see your shoes. Why your shoes look like. Yeah, I cannot. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to see it. All right. I don't know. Those shoes looked a little sus to me. I wanted to take an additional look, but it looked like I can't. All right, let's go ahead and let's bounce up out of here. I wonder if you gotta pay the invoices every day. It'd be interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna just take a quick look. No, the employee's still here. Although I did put you as storage. Oh, did I check to make sure you was actually? Hopefully you packed stuff up, and I didn't like start the next day without you having everything already in the storage. Hopefully you did it. I think enough time had passed away. I think you did do it because I was looking at somebody. But yeah, that's what is this? Already holding something. What is this? What the hell is this? I don't know what this is. What is this? Oh, yeah, you can stay up there. Yeah, you'll be all right. Only day 4, and we have a franchise point. Awesome. So I would actually begin making my way down this way to get to this other employee. We'll replace products faster. Yeah. So once I get the employee, then I'll try to save for. Well, no, I have employees to do that, so I guess I ain't gonna worry about that one. I guess I could try to go here. So I'll go like here. Then I'll do here, and then I'll go here, here. I can get some extra employees. After that, then we'll try to unlock like the rest of this chain here where we're already at before we start moving on to, you know, stuff over here. Automate prices. And then you can change that whatever. Okay. Yeah, then you're able to. All right, well, that's that. So let's go ahead and kill it. Is this still playing? It sure is. I'm like, why is it like freezing on me? It's only 1080p. Crazy. Maybe because the other video decoding, that's probably why. All right, well, guess that's that. So let's go ahead and, all right, we didn't make any changes, so we're good there. I don't know why I'm hitting save game when I should have just quit. Let me just try and give it a second. See if it'll. Okay, cool. Okay. Well, that was fun. It was interesting. So we didn't really get much out of this because it was just boring. Like, yeah, yeah. I mean, ever since Hassan did that thing with like the I was gonna say Taliban. The pirate. What was the kid that was like part of that was clearly a pirate person, was a Hezbollah person or something? It was one of those. Somalian, maybe? I don't remember. I said Somalian. I doubt it was that. It was one of those, like, one of the things that was like, okay, yeah, he's clearly like part of the terrorist organization, and you're like sitting there like chumming it up with him. I was like, okay. Sure. And then that was that. So I was just like, yeah. And you know, as somebody that sit there and does not even like that deep much of it at all really into the whole like Israel Palestine stuff, like, you know, I know some stuff to a degree. It's just like, all right, well, I guess it is what it is. I'll you know, I'll leave it be. But you know, guys, this was great. This was fun. I'm glad I got a lot of stuff working at last, only for me to go through the pain of eventually transitioning it next week. But it's time for me to go to sleep now. You guys take care, and I might stream Saturday, might not. We'll see. It depends on what I choose to do. I don't know. But we'll find out. All right, you guys take care. Later.
Will Almighty ever stop being trash? Can he ever not be sorry? Find out next time on Almighty's stream.